Who is ready for some total and absolute trauma? Hello, everybody. Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you for the hydrate. Hello, hello. I'm still more or less in my work attire, except I changed into leggings, so I don't have to wear my work pants anymore. Exactly. Exactly! Well, hello, everyone! I survived my first 2 days of work. Yeah. Work is going good. Work is going good. I mean, you know, obviously, first 2 days, I'm not doing anything real yet. I'm pretty much just, like, putting in my information, getting signed up for all the things I need to get signed up for. But it's been a really good time. It's funny after dark because I'm showing my legs. Yeah, but you didn't see any feet. I wanted to super randomly show you guys this beautiful bookend I found at an estate sale. Isn't that gorgeous? It's so perfect for me. I love it. It's tagging me. But went to an estate sale this past weekend, and you need a 2 or 3 for the feet. Exactly. Signing papers and shaking hands. Yes, exactly. But I went to an estate sale this weekend and actually got some really cool stuff for $5. $5. So awesome. Hey, bud, what's going on? I'm so glad you're here. Oh, well. So yeah, I can't tell you guys much about my work because, you know, a lot of it's proprietary, some of it's even classified, so like I can't really talk about it. But I will tell you that it's going great. Day 1 was absolutely exhausting, and I came home going, I'm not sure I can do this for a whole summer, let alone the rest of my life. But today I felt a lot better. I actually got to, like, I don't know, do some stuff that felt kind of meaningful. Like, you know, it just felt a lot better. And I came home not feeling nearly as tired as I did the first day. So I think, you know, just first day shenanigans or whatever, getting me extra tired. Yeah, just one day after another, exactly. You can tell us you just have to terminate us afterwards. Exactly. Can't stay too late because tomorrow's your first day on the commuter rail. Oh, I totally get that. I will. I mean, I gotta wake up pretty early too, but I know, you know, different time zone and everything. But yes, I totally get it, PJs. Thank you for at least stopping by for a little bit. Before you know it, you are 69 and getting ready to retire. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, my boss loves to talk. Like, it was funny. He, like, you know, called me into his office like 30 minutes before the end of the day and was just like, hey, I just wanted to, like, you know, we didn't really get to talk very much yet. You know, I just wanted to, like, you know, ask you about your aspirations and stuff, and then proceeded to go into, like, a 30-minute long spiel about some of his stories, how he got into Lockheed, the history of Lockheed, some other random things like related to Lockheed, how I learned how lasers work generally in that conversation, but never once did I talk about my own aspirations. So, you know, there's that. But also, you know, I didn't really mind too much. Your dad did a lot of work with lasers? Yeah, so I think I'll be able to do a little bit of work with lasers in this internship, which should be interesting. Rail to the lack of interstate? Oof. Also, wait, did we get a first? Who was first? I didn't see. Jeff being first. Oh my gosh, and Side! Hey, Side. What's up? Banging those bongos. How you doing? Thank you so much for the subscription. Yes. Okay, so well, he was RCA. That's awesome. He has a few patents on them. Ooh, fancy. Yeah, I'm in like the analysis side of things. So the unfortunate thing is I don't actually get to like play with the lasers. Like I will probably never actually like see/use a real laser. I'm just gonna be working with simulations because that's like what I do. But still, it's cool. Just a little different. I need to put little googly eyes up here so I like remember to look at the camera, because like, I don't know, I just default to looking either at chat or at my own face. So I feel like I need to put some googly eyes up there. Should totally do that. Or maybe I can crochet a little thing. Oh my god, I can totally put bubbles up there. You know bubbles? Wait, can I just... No, it's covering... Oh! Oh! Now I can just look at bubbles while I talk. Oh my gosh, it's great. Okay. I'm pro streamer. I have come to a cool thing. Anywho, you got your transit pass card just in time for them to say it will be reopened this weekend. Very nice. But I will try and stick to rail for at least a month. Yeah, and I mean, you know, carbon emissions and stuff, it's not a bad thing to do in general, you know? Is I can play games and read book? Exactly. Read book. How? I ate it. I ate the boop. No. Like, I gotta... No. Oh, darn, I didn't quite time it right. Okay, anywho. And save on car costs. Yes. Glad to be here, but I'll be stay long videos are exhausted. That's totally okay, bud. I get it. It's okay. You rest up. You do what you need to do to get unexhausted. I will be here until you decide to leave. But I'm still glad to have you, even if it's short. Commercial lasers on Amazon are wicked dangerous. Wait, there's like dangerous ones on Amazon? That sounds stupid. VOD waits for those of us who fall asleep. This is true. Okay, guys. So because of the fact that I have, you know, work in the morning and have to get up earlier than I'm used to, and I'm streaming later than I'm used to, I am gonna try to like jump into the game pretty quickly. But because we are playing Doki Doki Literature Club, I need to give my like spiel about this game. Because first of all, this game is rated M for mature. Just like baseline, this game is rated M for mature. Know that going in. But for this game specifically, I want to talk a little bit more about it. Because in my opinion, this is... Oh yeah, you saw the new Game Hype channel. Heck yeah. This game, in my opinion, is the most mature game I've ever played on stream. Like, we've played some games that are technically rated M for mature, like I think all 3 BioShocks were technically M for mature. There were some other games we've played that were technically rated M for mature, but they're mostly just because, you know, it's a classic shoot 'em up game. There's blood. That makes it rated M for mature. No. This is a psychological horror game. So just know that if you choose to continue watching. There are major trigger warnings, like, it features some very serious mental health problems and can become very scary at times. This is a horror game. So just know that if you choose to continue watching. Yes. Yes. And yeah, so the disclaimer that the game itself gives is that this game is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Even from the little bit I've played so far, this game is disturbing. So please know that if you continue to watch. Yes, I last played it during the subathon, absolutely. You watch streamers stream this game. The best way I can describe it is it goes from 0 to 100 way too often and not in a good way, yes. But yes, I streamed it last during the subathon. Really been a month since your previous stream for the game? Oh, yeah, for this game, it's been a month, yeah. Also, make sure that you're 13 years old. 13, how bad could it be? Oh my god. How you look forward to this, but not Alien Isolation? It's different! But okay, if I can, so because this game is very mature and can possibly be disturbing or even triggering, depending on what your own personal life experiences are, for the sake of not spoiling anything for people who haven't seen this game before, I am going to leave it at this is disturbing and can be triggering. However, if your own life experiences make you potentially worried that you may be triggered by this game, I am going to ask X-Dragon if you can do a little beyond your normal mod duties, and essentially, we didn't talk about this ahead of stream, so I hope you're okay with this, but what I'm gonna say is, if you're worried that this game may be triggering, and you want to know a little bit more about what those triggers are, Whisper to X Dragon, and he can explain to you in a little more detail what those triggers are so that you can decide for yourself if you want to continue watching. So this is more for people who may have experienced things in their lives that can potentially become triggered by disturbing content. so if you fall into that category, message X Dragon or whisper to X Dragon, and he can just shed a little more light on what's going to be happening. Okay, he'll be on PC in 5-10 minutes. Okay, which we won't get to anything disturbing in that amount of time because the game progress didn't transfer to my new PC. So we technically have to start the game over. That's why the title of my stream is Speed Running This Drama, because we are literally going to speed run the first bit of this game. Okay, so here's my plan. Here's my plan, guys. I know it's rough. My plan is the first bit of the stream. So essentially, or the first bit of the game, essentially up until the main character joins the literature club. I will do that normally. You know, I'll do all the voice acting. I will do all the voices. I'll make all the choices, whatever. Well, actually, I don't think there's any choices up till that point, whatever. But I will do that normal. And then we're gonna go into summary mode, where essentially I am not gonna read things word for word. I'm just gonna kind of click through them and summarize what's happening until we get to where we ended the stream last time. The trauma, until we get to the trauma. And then I'll go back to a normal speed and we'll continue playing the game. Okay? Sound good? And in the spirit of Doki Doki Literature Club, I will try to make the same decisions I made last time. Obviously, yes, I am making the same choices. Because I just feel like that's the spirit of Doki Doki Literature Club. You're supposed to not be able to go back and change. You know what I mean. Sorry. You know what I mean. So in the spirit of Doki Doki Literature Club, I am going to make the same choices that I did the first time. Yes. Absolutely love your shirts design. Ah, thank you. I like my straps. It has buttons on the shoulder. It's cute. Okay. Hi, Elma. If you do all makeup, something probably entirely inappropriate. Nice. Yeah, don't message Dorothy's never played. That's fair. Have you finished this before? No, I have not finished it. This is still my first playthrough, but I got to the first trauma moment. I'm sure everyone who's played it knows exactly what I'm talking about. You know, where everybody's like, welcome to the actual start of Doki Doki Literature Club. That part. That's how far I got. That's the amount of gameplay that got deleted. So I'm starting from scratch. But this is still technically my first playthrough. Okay. I think we're good to get started. Was your mood so nice? I'm gonna find your streams. I forgot now I did that, but it doesn't matter. Oh, wait, why is it so tiny? Okay, wait, give it a second to realize. Okay, it's thinking. I think I might have to tell it exactly what to... Aha! So, I always think it's funny because you can very clearly tell, for those of you who have played this game before, just by looking at this screen, you can already tell it didn't save my progress. So... For those of you who have never played this game before, you're probably confused why that is, and after today's stream, you will know exactly why, and you will cry yourself to sleep. It's on your short list of Switch games to play this year? Wait, this game, or did I miss a message? Because if this game, 110% agree. People don't find DDLC streams by accident. It's a safe bet that everyone here is either from your community or already familiar with the game. You know, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Okay, so we're technically starting a new game. We'll stick with Bunny, even though I didn't realize when I first started this game that the main character was supposed to be a boy, but whatever. This is our alter ego male bunny person. Okay. So first bit, using voices. Okay, I have to try to remember the voices I did because I liked the voices I picked. Bunny boy. Bunny boy. Also, welcome back, Lord Q. Welcome back. I'm glad you were able to pick up some more Doki. Okay, so Sayori was... Wait, you just subbed? Oh, why didn't it... Oh, well, thank you. I don't know why it didn't give me a notification, but thank you. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Remember, I'm impressed? Thank you. I'm glad I impressed you, but honestly, it's just because I'm a small streamer. There aren't that many names to remember. Okay, I think I made Sayori like kind of perky, but not as perky as Natsuki. Because Natsuki, I just gave her like a really high-pitched voice. So I think Sayori's like, hey! I see an annoying girl running toward me from the distance, waving her arms in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. You know the kind of friend you'd never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting up. I just realized as I'm replaying this game, I'm gonna catch so many more of like the little things that I missed. Like already, there are already, oh my god, my brain. Foreshadowing, there's already foreshadowing. We can drop the toe though, no sense inflating an ego that hasn't earned it because I forgot my password for your first go around. Nice. Do that wave thing again, you looked like one of those inflatables. Oh, like this one. Hello, I'm Sayori. Well, don't leave us hanging or anything. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. But if she's gonna chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayori catch up to me. Ah, I overslept again. But I caught you this time. Maybe, but only because I decided to stop and wait for you. You say that like you were thinking about ignoring me. That's mean, Bunny. Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I don't want them to think we're a couple or something. Fine, fine, but you did wait for me after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be mean, even if you want to. Whatever you say, Sayori. We crossed the street together. I'm sorry, that's my favorite line to say. It's just, but says, yeah, I wanted for a while to sub to your streams. I only sub to streamers who I consider wholesome, legitimate, the best, and very fun to chat with. Ah! Thank you, I appreciate it. I don't know why it didn't notify me though. Like, I see that it updated the number, but it didn't give me a notification. That's so sad. But thank you, I still appreciate it. We cross the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute. By the way, Bunny, have you decided on a club to join yet? A club? I told you already, I'm not really interested in joining any clubs. I haven't been looking either. Man, I need to make Bunny's voice a little deeper because it's supposed to be a guy and all, you know, because right now my Bunny voice is actually kind of similar to my Monica voice. I guess we'll need to get Bunny to play more of this VNs. Wait, VNs? VNs. I don't know what that acronym means. I don't know if I'm dumb or if that's just not an acronym I've ever seen before. Oh wait, visual novels? Visual novels. Ah, I guessed it. I guessed it right before I saw the chat. Okay. Sorry, I think this shirt specifically, the way that it like, the camera picks it up, it makes it look especially funny when I wave my arms around. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe that'll be my thing. I can practice some voice acting. You know, maybe get scouted. I don't think that's something you get scouted for, but whatever. That's not true. You told me you would join a club this year. Did I? Wait, can I? Oh, I can just click the enter button. I like that. I don't even have to use my mouse. I can just blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm sure it's possible I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's going on about. Sayori likes to worry a little too much about me when I'm perfectly content just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and anime. Uh-huh. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. Your happiness is really important to me, you know? And I know you're happy now, but I die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world. You trust me, right? Don't make me keep worrying about you. All right. I'll look at a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though. Will you at least promise you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that. Yay! Why do I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl? I mean, you wouldn't be the first streamer I saw that happen to. Oh, really? It's possible? Ooh, I just need to start, like, spamming those visual novels with the stream title, Please Scout Me! Wanna do voiceover work? I honestly think that'd be so much fun. I love just, like, you know, doing this and messing around with it a little bit. I think it's super fun, so. And you guys seem to like it. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like you guys like it. More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. Relent to her? What does that phrase even mean? Whatever, it doesn't matter, we're speed running. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind a little bit. Or at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside of her head. The school day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall, looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. Sayori wants me to check out some clubs. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. Hello? Sayori? Sayori must have come into the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize I'm the only one left in the classroom. Sayori! UID. Well, but hello! Welcome in, Sayori. It's technically my first time playing the game, but I'm redoing the beginning, so... Hello. We're doing a little bit of a speed run because I've gotten to the trauma and then my progress got deleted, so we're redoing the trauma. I am your best friend. Oh my god, you're gonna make me... Okay. I look around and realize that I'm the only one left in the classroom. I thought I'd catch you coming out of the classroom, but I saw you just sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. Honestly, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed. You don't need to wait up for me if it's gonna make you late to your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know... Know what? Well, that you could come to my club. Sayori? Yeah? There's no way I'm going to your club. Famous last words! Meanie. Sayori is the vice president of the literature club. Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. Since she was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title of vice president. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be even less. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. Come on, please. Why do you care so much anyway? Well, I kind of told the club yesterday I would bring in a new member. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything. Don't make promises you can't keep. I can't tell if Sayori is really that much of an airhead or if she is so cunning as to have planned all of this out. I let out a long sigh. Fine, I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? Yes, let's go! And thus, today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. Well, I'm going. Good luck on your route. I'll always be watching you. I know. Enjoy the lurk. Enjoy the lurk. Thanks for popping in and thank you for the follow. Welcome to the crew. Welcome to the trauma. I mean, you already know, I'm sure, based on your, username. Selling her soul for cupcakes. I dejectedly follow Sayori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit, being generally used for third-year classes and activities. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Everyone, the new member is here. I told you, don't call me a new member. Eh? I glance around the room. Welcome to the literature club. It's a pleasure to meet you. Sayori always says nice things about you. Seriously? You bought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere. Bunny, what a nice surprise. Welcome to the club. All words escape me in this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it. Sorry. Natsuki. The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes me think she's probably a first year. She is also the one who made cupcakes, according to Sayori. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Sayori says that quietly into my ear. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Then turns back to the other girls. Anyway, this is Natsuki, always full of energy. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club. Don't say things like that. Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayori and Natsuki. Well, it's nice to meet both of you. And it sounds like you already know Monika, is that right? That's right. It's great to see you again, Bunny. Monika smiles sweetly. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talked, but we were in the same class last year. Monika was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic, basically completely out of my league. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... Thank you, M4, for the subscription! Didn't think I was gonna make it, but... That's fair. So M4, to get you up to speed, Doki Doki Literature Club, it deleted my progress, so we're technically restarting. Can't sleep, oh. Well, this will definitely prevent you from sleeping. Trauma, dun dun dun. Exactly. But yeah, we're actually restarting the game because it deleted my progress for some, well, not deleted my progress, but I couldn't transfer it to my new computer, so my progress is gone. So we're gonna do like a speed run of the first bit. So yeah, have fun with your nightmares you're gonna get after this stream. Having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... you too, Monika. Come sit down, Bunny. We made room for you at the table so you can sit next to me or Monika. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. Sorry, I got a little too excited. Then how about I make some tea as well? The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. Rain sleeps are the best. Oh, that is true. It's fine because you don't have work tomorrow. Heck yeah, I do. Because you wanted to sleep all day when it was raining. Oh, I love rain sleeps, yes. No, when you're driving. Well, no sleeps are good when you're driving. As Sayori mentioned, it's been widened so that there is one space next to Monika and one space next to Sayori. Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room, where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Ooh! Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing and little pieces of chocolate were used to make the ears. So cute! I had no idea you were so good at... Oh, no, that's Monika. Ah, wrong person. I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki. Well, you know. Just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs the first one, then Monika. I follow. It's delicious. Sayori... Oh, it's delicious. Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around in my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Why are you thanking me? It's not like I... Haven't I heard this somewhere before? Made them for you or anything. Eh? I thought you technically did. Sayori said, well, maybe, but not for, you, dummy. All right. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep the whole... oh my god, I saw Yuri and I just automatically went to the Yuri voice. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I mean, that, I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but at least I enjoy tea. Well, I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me. So, what made you consider the literature club? I was afraid of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monica that I was practically dragged here by Sayori. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Sayori seemed really happy here, so that's okay. Don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the literature club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Monica, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club last year? Well, to be honest, I can't stand all the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it means encouraging others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. And Monica's a really good leader. Yuri also nods in agreement. Then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club. You could put it that way. Not many people are very interested in putting all the effort into starting something brand new, especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. But it makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident that, foreshadowing, I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah, we'll do our best. You know it. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must have worked really hard just to find these three. Maybe that's why they were all so delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. So, Bunny, what kind of things do you like to read? Considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga. I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. It looks like she wanted to say something, but keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her fingers. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? Foreshadowing. Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. I read a horror book once. I desperately grasped something I can relate to at a minimal level. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri. For someone as gentle as you. I guess you could say that. But if a story makes me think or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment. Foreshadowing! Ugh, I hate horror. Oh, why is that? Well, Natsuki's eye dart over to me for a second. Never mind. That's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind the last club meeting. It looked like you were working on a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud! And give that back! Fine, fine. There's the subscription! Oh my gosh. Oh, now it's telling you to share your 2-month sub anniversary because he was a gifted sub before. Oh, that makes sense. But yes, I did get the notification that time. So thank you again. Thank you again. Even though it was like already subbed. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Fine, fine. Your cupcakes, your poems. We only dropped 400 plus in 3 days. I mean, you know, it's a subathon thing. Oh, excuse me. Everything you do is just as cute as you are. Sayori sidles up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on his shoulders. I'm not cute. Natsuki, you write your own poems? Well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? You're grateful for have subbed to you. Oh, I'm glad. I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No. Natsuki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. Not very confident writer yet. I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities, and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Natsuki feel comfortable enough to share hers. I guess it's the same for Yuri. I wanted to read everyone's poems. We all sit in silence for a moment. Okay, I have an idea, everyone. Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monika. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. Then next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. That way, everyone is even. Yeah, let's do it! Plus, now that we have a new member, I think it'll help us all get a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right, Bunny? Monika smiles warmly at me once again. You can't drop that kind of money all the time, unfortunately. Yeah, for sure. That was crazy. We're trying to make the subathon a monthly thing. Oh my god, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Oh, bud, you gotta go? I totally get it. Sorry for not saying too long. I totally get it. Sleep is important. Love you and your streams. Oh, thank you. I'm always glad to be being here. Thanks again. I'm glad I got to come in and see and say hi and see how you've been. Please take care and catch you next stream, whenever that will be. Thank you so much, bud. I'm glad you were able to pop in for a little bit. I will be streaming again. I think the plan is to stream on Thursday. I do think it'll have to be another 7:30 p.m. Pacific time stream. I thought I'd get to work from home on Thursdays. I don't think that's gonna be in the cards for me, so yeah. Anywho, I hope to see you again then, but have a wonderful sleep, okay? Hold on, there is still one problem. What's that? Now that we're back to the original topic of me joining the club, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I would join this club. Sayori may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and, I lose my train of thought. All 4 girls stare back at me with dejected eyes. I have to say, Monika's eyes are the most dejected out of everyone's. Natsuki just looks mildly angry. And Yuri looks quizzical. Do you want to think about moving Thursday to Friday? Yes, that is something I'm considering. I have not yet decided if that's what I will do. So I think for this week, we're sticking with Thursday. But it's a possibility that I may move it to Friday. But for this week, we will be Thursday. Cupcake thief. She's like, cupcake thief. Well, anyways, take care of the best. I finally got around to something to you. Oh, thank you, bud. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yep. Boop, 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 bop, boop, bop. That's me. Dancing to the dramatic music. But, I'm sorry. I thought, Bunny, you all... I am defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? That is, if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes light up. Yes, I'm so happy. Sari wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey, you really did scare me. You really did scare me for a moment. If you really just came for the cupcakes, I would be super pissed. And that makes it official. Welcome to the literature club. Thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share. Monica looks over at me once more. Bunny, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside of me. Best choice of your life. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Hey, Bunny, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? That's right. Sayori and I never walked home together anymore because she always stayed after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! Creative writing class was the best decision I ever made. Oh, I love creative writing class. And in high school, I got the chance to take 2 creative writing classes, and it made me very happy. With that, the 2 of us departed the club room and make our way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the 4 girls. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and of course, Monica. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. All right, I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess it starts with writing a poem tonight. Okay, so this is where officially the speedrun portion of this stream starts. So I'm not gonna do the voices. I'm just gonna kind of, I'm really gonna speedrun this because we have essentially, I think it's 3 days plus the weekend. 3 days plus the weekend to get through, and then yeah, I think, and then the sports festival. The school festival is where I'll go back to like normal speed. Should have asked earlier, do you want me to find all the word choices in the old VOD? I don't think, I'm not too worried about the exact word choices. As long as I get the same girl, I think it shouldn't matter too much. So like for this first one, I'm trying to get Yuri. And then for the second one, I try to get Natsuki. And then the third one, I try to get Yuri again. I'm pretty sure that's what I did. But yeah, I think as long as I get the same girl, I should be good. But here we go. Speedrun time. Woo, my entire chair just moved. Okay, that's what I did. Cool. That's what I thought, but that's good. It's good to make sure. Okay, pick words you think of your favorite club member would like. Some good person, something good might happen with whoever likes promos. Okay, pleasure, eternity, sensation, vitality, universe, sunset? No, damn it. I mean, darn it. Actually, it's an Emery stream. It's Bunny After Dark. I'm allowed to say that. Tenacious, cool. Despise, effulgent, extraordinary, and horror. Embrace? I keep getting too many Saoris! Incongruent. Oh, I can't save. Oh, I can save. Boop. Just in case I get the wrong girl. The after image. Captive? Graveyard? Precious? No! Waterfall? No! Waterfall! Okay, whatever. Frightening? Okay. I think I got Yuri, but there were a bit too many Saoris in there. Okay, speedrun. All right, we're back to the club. Monica's glad to see us. Glad we didn't run away. Be a little strange, but you kept your word. We're back at the literature club. Everyone's hanging out. Yuri's glad I kept my promise. Then commitment. Diving head first. Like he deserves any slack. Didn't want to join any clubs. Natsuki's just being mean to me. Yeah, and then Monica's like, Natsuki, you have a big mouth. And then she's like, and then so she finds herself being, because she keeps manga in the classroom, and she goes, manga is literature, because she likes manga, and then runs away. And then Saori's like, yeah, don't worry, he'll give it his best, and then he helps you with busy work, even without asking, cooking, cleaning, yeah. And then Yuri's like, wow, he's amazing, and so messy and stuff. And then I'm like, wow, your house is almost on fire. And then she's like, and Yuri's like, you two are really good friends. I might be a little jealous. And then Saori's like, you guys can become friends too. And Yuri's like, ah. And Saori's like, what? And I'm like, what? And as usual, Saori's completely oblivious. And she's just excited because she's like, Yuri's like all embarrassed because she brought a book and Saori knows, but I didn't know. And then she's like, and I'm like, what did you bring me? And she's like, I don't know, nothing, whatever. It's like, I didn't bring anything. And then she's just like, what? Just show her. And I'm like, whatever. And then I'm just like, I don't know what's just a nice gesture, whatever. I'll make me happy no matter what. And then she's like, oh, well, in that case, I'll give you this book and I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. You say that in PG movies, it hardly count. I am having fun with this, not gonna lie. Yeah, no, we're doing speedrun. And so Yuri's like, here's a book. She pulls out a book, she gives it to me, and she's like, I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book for you, and it's short. And then she's like, yeah, she's gonna read it again so we can discuss it. And then she's accidentally really cute, and then she's like, she picked out a book, and I'm like, wow, I'm gonna read it. And then I take the book, and she's excited, and she's happy, and she's like, you can read at your own pace. And then Monica's gonna kick off some activities, but she doesn't. They're just talking, and then Yuri is reading, and then it's like, she's just reading and looking at me, and Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. Buddy clip notes in school. I'm just like, yeah, and then these two guys like fought a war, and they were like, oh my god. So I was really curious to talk to Yuri some more. Okay, so we definitely got Yuri. Okay. But at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting you from reading. Crafts goes to the cover. Oh, and she's reading the same book she lent to me, and she seems to be on the first few pages, and then she's all like, oh no, I was caught. And then I was like, oh no, I was caught looking at her. And then we like look at each other, and it's like a cute moment, and then she hides in her book, and then I say sorry, and then I was like spacing out, and I'm like, oh, no. And then she goes, oh, it's fine. And then she was like really focused, and then she was rereading it, and then I said, it's the book you gave me, and then she's like, yup, and then she's like, I wanted to reread it, and then like, nah, not because of you or anything. And I was like, how do you have two copies of the same book? And she's like, oh, well, I stopped at the bookstore yesterday, so I bought your copy. I mean, that's not what I meant, but I mean, I just happened to buy two of them. And I was like, oh, cool, you bought me a gift. And there's something fairly obvious that she isn't telling me, but I decided, like, it's because she bought me the book. She bought me the book. She likes me. Not quite a land speed record, but close. And I'm like, I'll start reading it. And then she's like, hey. And then she's like, once you pick it up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's very engaging. And I was like, really? And then she's like, yeah. I was like, what it's about? And then she's like, well. And she closes the book, and then she scans the back. It's called Portrait of Markov, sort of ominous looking eye symbol. And so she's like, okay, it's, she didn't want to accidentally give something away. She's like, it's about a girl in high school who moves in with her younger sister. And then her life gets strange. And she gets targeted by these people who escaped to prison. And then while her life is in danger, she needs to choose who to trust. And no matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationships. Yeah, and so I'm like, whoa, what the heck? And I'm like, that's kind of dark. And then Yuri made it sound like it was gonna be like the story, and so I was like really surprised. And Yuri's like, yeah, and then giggles all of a sudden. And she's like, oh, whoops, are you not a fan of that? And I was like, no, it's fine. It's like I can definitely enjoy it, but like, you know, whatever. And she's like, oh, well, I really hope so. And then I was like, I totally forgot that Yuri is into these like kind of dark things. And she's like shy and reclusive, but she's like really into those things. And so she's like, it's just those kind of stories that challenge you to look at life from a new perspective, and like horrible things, and you know, just because someone wants to be evil because they have their own goals, and you know, they like think about that. And then when suddenly you thought you related to protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one. Yeah, and it's like crazy. And then she's like, I'm rambling, and then she gets sorry, and then I'm like, bruh, don't apologize. And it's like, I haven't lost interest. And then she gets like embarrassed, and she says it's all right. And I feel like I should let you know I have this problem. And then she's like, she lets the books fill her thoughts, and then she forgets to pay attention to other people. And then so she says sorry again. And she says like toppers, she's talking too much. And I'm like, bruh, I don't really think you need to worry about that. It just means you're passionate. And it's like, I can listen, it's a literature club, like that's what we're for. And she's like, yeah, I'm embarrassed. And then it's like, you might as well get started on reading. And she's like, you don't have to. And I'm like, what are you saying? That's a moment ago, you said you were looking forward to it. And I'm like, yeah. And then just look at the book, I retrieve the book, I put it in my bag, and I start reading it, and I sit next to her, and then I start reading. And then she's like, yeah, are you sure? You seem a bit apprehensive. And then it's because she's like embarrassed because I'm sitting close to her and she likes me. And then she's like not very used to it, and, you know, reading in the company of somebody else. And I'm like, oops, whatever, you know, I don't want to distract you. And she's like, it's fine. And then you put the book and start reading, and then so you soon after you understand what you're in a reading company, see it's like you can feel the presence, it's not particularly a bad thing, maybe just a little distracting, but it's comforting. And then so you see her in the corner of your eye and you realize that she's not actually looking at her own book, she's looking at mine. And so then she gets all embarrassed and is like, oh no, and it's like, you don't need to apologize that much. And she's like, I didn't realize I apologized that much. And then she apologizes for not apologizing, and I laugh at her. And then we slide our desks together so that you can hold the book between the two of them and we can read from the same book. Okay, I'm gonna pause for a second to read chat and breathe. Anyone know what the guy in Ant-Man movie that tries to explain things really fast? Yes, I love that. Thank you for the hydrate. Lewis, yep. Michael Pina. Bunny bruh. He's a pretty underrated actor. He's cool. I like him. Yeah, Lightspeed Doki Doki. Because, like, I want to try to get to new stuff today. Yeah. All right, let's go. So Yuri's all embarrassed, and then she wants to like read from my book, and then so she closes her own copy and then leans in, and their shoulders are almost touching, and then her arm is in the way. So then he like, you know, moves his arm, and then so now they're both holding one end of the book, and it's like a really intimate moment, and they're like sharing this moment, and they're reading, and there's a really long stuff about them reading, and they're really, really close, and she's distracting because you can feel the warmth of her face. And then she's looking at him because he's, you know, he's a slow reader, and then he has to turn the page. And then, you know, she reads too fast, and then he's like, yeah, you're not used to being reading. And then it's like, I don't mind being patient. If it takes you a bit longer, it's probably the least I can do. And, you know, he's been patient. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And then so we keep reading, and then she doesn't ask to turn the pages anymore, so she's like assumes, and then I turn the page when I'm ready. And we continue the first chapter, turning each page, and it's an intimate exchange. Our thumbs gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. So it's like, you know, really intimate, so like it might be a silly thought, and the like main character reminds me of you, and she's like, whoa, really? And then how? And I was like, well, I guess she's a little blunt, but she second guesses herself, and she's afraid she's gonna do something wrong, and it's like, not I can see in her head, but it's kind of reminiscent of your mannerism. And she's like, oh, well, okay, I see. And she remains silent, and she's like, that's probably a terrible thing for me to have in common for her, and it's like embarrassing when you think of that. I'm like, oh, no, I didn't mean that in a bad way. I was just like, you know, reading the book, and he's just self-conscious about that sort of thing. And she's like, and I was like, I guess I meant it more like cute. And she's like, and then she gets like, and then Monica's like, bro, we're gonna jump in on this. And then Yuri gets a little embarrassed, and then she says it's time to share the poems, and then we might not have enough time if we wait too long. And then Yuri's like, oh no. And then like, you know, spared for finishing her thought because she didn't want to like say that she was like liking me or something. And then you look kind of down, sorry, I haven't been looking forward to this. And she's like, no, it's not that. She was like, it's a thing with me. It closes, releasing her hand of the book, calling the close on top of my thumb, and then we finish reading, and then we gotta read more tonight. And then said, or would you prefer I read it only with you? And she's like, I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. And I'm like, in that case, I'll read a little more tonight. and they'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up. So that's kind of cute. And then, so feel free to finish the first 2 chapters. I'm like, cool. I stand up, we make a mental note where you left off in the book and slip it in the bag. And I was like, oh, did you remember to write a poem? And I was like, yeah. And then your relaxation ends because you're like, you gotta share the poem. You couldn't really find much inspiration. And you're like, well, now everyone's ready. Why don't you find someone to share with? And so everybody's like, yay. And then, yeah, they like pull out their poems and then the wrinkled piece of paper. Composition notebook, you know, handwriting is, you know, looks like them. All right, we're gonna share it with Monica first. So we're gonna start with Monica because she's the team captain. She seemed eager, you wanna put in all the effort. So Monica is reading my thing. She's like asking me if I'm having a good time. She's like, yay, and then you're new and everything. If you ever have any suggestions, club, like new activities we can do better, always listening. Yeah, so she's like, cool, you can come to me for anything. Yeah, and it's much better going off with the flow until you're more settled in. And then she's like, whatever, I want to share your poem with me. And I'm like, it's embarrassing. And then she's like, don't worry about it. And then we're like, a little embarrassed. It's fine, it's like a barrier. And then I was like, yeah, so I give her the poem. And she's like, this is great. And then she was like, oh, and in my head while I was reading, and it's like really metaphorical. And I'm like, I'm not sure why, but I expect you to go for something so deep. And then she's like, wow, I underestimated you. And I was like, easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations so low. And I was like, yeah, and then I put in some effort and it's great. And then she's like, that's not fair. And then she's like, Yuri likes this kind of writing. And I was like, yeah, I wrote it for Yuri. Imagery and symbolism. It's like Sayori likes using simple and direct words, and like Yuri likes it when they like dive and derive their own meaning. It's very challenging to write like that effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it, which I feel, deeply analyze it. Yeah, it's like really good. I'm amazing. And I'm like, and she's nowhere near her level. And I was like, she's like, don't worry, you do your own thing. And she's like, just keep exploring. And I'm like, yeah, we'll try different things a lot. And it can take a while before I feel comfortable. And she's like, yeah, cool. I'd love to see you try new things. It's the best way to find stuff. Anyway, everybody might be a little biased toward their own style, but I'll be happy to help you find what suits you. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else tells you to write. And just don't impress them or anything. Yeah. Anyway, what do you want to read my poem? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. And she's like, yeah, well, she's good at sounding confident. She doesn't always feel confident. I'm like, yeah, I get that. And then let's read it. Okay, hole in a wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction, the spackle protrudes, a noisy neighbor, an angry boyfriend. I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind, like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retina's already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It wasn't too deep, stretching forever into everything. Oh, it was too deep, stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realized now I wasn't looking in. I was looking at, and he was on the other side looking in. So what do you think? And so I'm like, yeah, it's freeform. That's pretty cool. And I'm like, I can't get feedback. And she's like, I wasn't looking for feedback. It's pretty popular. And it's like, a lot of poems are putting emphasis on timing. When performed out loud, it could be powerful. And it's like a spoken word. And I was like, what's the inspiration? And she's like, well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing the poems. So I go, epiphany? And she's like, yeah. And she's like nervous to talk about deep stuff because it's coming on strongly, but maybe once everyone is friends with each other. And then she's like, all right, Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try too hard to make it perfectly, you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen on the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So move your hand and go with the flow. That was my advice for today. Yay! Now Yuri, because she'll like my poem. All right, Yuri, she reads the poem, her eyes lighten, she really likes it. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, covers her mouth, but ends up covering her whole face. And she's embarrassed because she said that it's good and that it's gonna hate me. And I'm like, you really didn't do anything wrong. And she's like, and she's just like really embarrassed. And it's adorable and cute. And yeah, and then she's like, what kind of writing experience do you have? And she's like, you wrote really well. And I was like, wow, it's a huge compliment. And she's like, first time writing. And she's like, what? And then she stares at me blankly in the poem. And then she's like, well, I know that. She's like, ugh. And then she gets all embarrassed again and like, thinking about things. And then they're like, yeah, is gonna be able to tell. And it's just like, writing habits are, their specific writing habits are usually typical of new writers, and having been through myself, kind of learned to pick up on them. Most notable thing is just trying to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they, pick a style separate from the topic matter, try to fit the two together. The end result is both style and expressiveness are weakened. And then she's like, she gets her train of thought and then just like goes on with it. And she gets more confident, and then she's like, but you can't be blamed for that. Different skills and techniques, blah, blah, blah. It's just finding them and building them, going together is like a big part, and try to take time, but it's time practice, it's all good. And then she's like, you want to get good feedback, and she's like, not seeking to be biased, and I'm like, what? And then she's like, yeah. And I said, cool. And then she's like, I don't know what she's apologizing to. And she's like, I'm like, I want to read your poem. And she's like, oh yeah, cool. I want to share my thoughts. And then she's like, meh, 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 meh. And then, and then it's a literature club. So, ghost under the light. Tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing, it must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe, calm, breathing in the air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking about that at all. But it took you a long time to read. And I was like, that's just because I don't read. And then your handwriting's pretty. And she's like, what? That's a relief. And I said, I like the poem. And then it's short but descriptive. And then she's like, no, I mean, you know, I write longer poems. And she's like, this one was short. And she's like, but I'm glad you liked it. But be honest, first time sharing, wanted to write something a little more mild, something that's easy to digest. And I was like, you're into ghosts? And she's like, actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, buddy. And I was like, what? And then she's like, and I was like, I missed the point. And she's like, you know, glance over it. But poets often express their own thoughts in their work, you know, tell a simple story, paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, you know, trying not to let go of the past, left with nothing. And I was like, whoa, that's solemn. And I was like, I hadn't thought of that. That's impressive. And then she's like, yeah, it's nothing. It's impressive too. And then she gets all embarrassed again. And I'm like, I could learn stuff. And she's like, I'm embarrassed. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And she's like, oh no, whatever. I'm really nervous about doing this. Now she's like, I enjoyed it. And they tried to keep doing her best. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you for the tiny green hat, TNT Creepy. Trying to keep up with that was exhausting, so I think I will successfully pass out. Well, I'm glad I helped you fall asleep. I was thinking of on a name and I settled on foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. I think I missed 2 hydrates between, so here's the second hydrate. Hello. Oh, Monica's poem? Yeah. Definitely foreshadowing. Alright, next to Natsuki, who hates my poem. Alright, so Natsuki reads it, she looks at me, and then she's like, you're not taking this club seriously, and I'm like, bruh. And then she's like, you put effort in this? And she's like, and I'm like, I'm not a writer. And then she's like, maybe it's not good, but I put in the effort. And I was like, we start somewhere. And then I'm like, you know, probably the first poem you ever wrote. And then she's like, I'm embarrassed. And I'm like, yeah, that's hard to think about. And she's like, okay, whatever, but you know, I'm sorry, you'll get better. And then I was like, tell you what to improve on, you're better off trying again. And I was like, fair enough. And then to each their own. And then she's like, I gotta share mine. You'll probably think it's stupid. Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheeses can run, eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it. Yeah. So it's like, you weren't gonna like it. And I was like, I like it. And she's like, come on. And I'm like, I do like it, you know. And she's like, you're so convinced. And she's like, well, you know, I didn't think you'd like it. Thinks writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. Don't even take my writing seriously. But the point of poems is for people to express themselves. And I was like, yeah, your writing style shouldn't make your message any less valid. And she's like, yeah, you get it. It's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem, seeing everyone around you do great things can be really, like, crazy. And so I decided to write about it. And I was like, yeah, no, I totally get it. But the other nice thing about simple writing is, like, there's wordplay and stuff set up for the rhyme at the end and made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line. And I was like, yeah, I guess you did that. I guess more went into it than I realized. It's like, that's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? And I was like, okay. And I decided to humor her. Yeah, and so don't really care how old everyone is, but that makes her proud. All right, let's check in on Sayori with her adorable, you know, ness. Sayori, good poem, she likes it, yay. And then she's the first time, and I was like, wow, it's not that good, whatever. And then she's like, yeah, whatever. And then I was like, but that's why it impressed me, because you don't write poems very often. And then she's like, to be honest, she thought you wouldn't take it seriously, or that you wouldn't write one at all. But I'm really happy that you wrote one. It just reminds me of how you're really part of the club now. And then, like, standing in front of you in the classroom, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm a part of the club. And it's like, not really into it yet, but that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. And then she's like, yeah, like I said, you know, deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know, trying new things for the sake of other people. That's something only really good people do. And I was like, wow, thanks. And it's like, she doesn't quite see the full picture, but it's fine. Can't deny it, she's part of the reason I joined. And, you know, it means that much to her. And she's like, cool, yeah, so have lots of fun. And then that'll be my way of thanking you. And I was like, yeah, cool, I'll hold you to that. And I was like, yay! And then she wants me to read her poem, and then she's like, she's really bad at this. And I was like, well, I'll see about that. And she said, "Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me, kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepy from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a rainy day? I look above, the sky is blue, it's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever, but I'm not bad, I want breakfast." Sayori, did you write this, while you're this morning? And she's like, "No, but yeah." And then she's like, "I forgot to do it," and I was like, makes me feel better about myself. And then she's like, "Don't be mean." And she's like, "I tried hard." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to be mean. It's a good poem. It's like, it sounds just like you." And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "That's so sweet." And then she's like, "I didn't mean it, it's a toast. Even though you were late for school." And I was like, "It's bad to skip breakfast. I get all cranky." And I was like, whatever, no point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me. And she's like, "Yay, that was so much fun. Monica's the best." And I was like, "Yeah, cool. Next time I won't forget, and I'm gonna write the best poem ever." And I was like, "Cool, I'll look forward to it." We're going strong in this. Yeah, no, I can't take my eyes off of the screen if I'm gonna do speed run. Glance around the room, a little bit more stressful, being judged, but they're being nice, and it's a literature club, so yeah, that's what you got yourself into. They're happily chatting, eyes land on Yuri, gingerly exchange sheets of paper, and then they're getting mad at each other. So Natsuki's furrow in frustration, and then Yuri smiles sadly. "What's with this language, eh?" Did you say something? "Oh, it's nothing." She they're just reading each other poems, and they don't like it. They're getting mad at each other. They don't like the symbolism, the feeling getting up. It's not cute. And then she's like, "The language is cute." And then she was trying to say something nice, but she did a bad job at it. And then is that hard to say something nice? And it didn't come out nice at all. So it's like she has some suggestions, and Natsuki's like, "No." And she's like, "People liked my poem." And then Bunny liked my poem, and then like, "I'm glad you give you some of my suggestions." Then she starts to give suggestions, and Yuri's like, no, I am not going to take your suggestions. She's not going to change because she's been working on a writing style for a while. And then she's like, "No," and then they're getting mad at each other, and she's like, "Bunny liked my poem too, very impressed by it." And then they suddenly stand up, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't realize you were so trying to improve our new member." And now Yuri's embarrassed because she didn't try to impress my new member, but she was just, bouncing off of Natsuki. And then she's like, "Maybe you're just jealous that Bunny appreciates my advice more." And then she's like, "What? You didn't appreciate my advice? Are you not full of yourself?" And then she's like, "I don't know. If I was full of myself, I wouldn't deliberately do anything overly cutesy." Ooh, attacked. And then she gets angry, and then Sayori jumps in, and she's like, "What's going on?" And then Natsuki's getting mad, and she's like, boobs magically grow a size bigger. And then Yuri's like, "What? I didn't do that for Bunny." And then Monica's like, "Oh, that's a little." And then they're both like, "Get out of this." And then Sayori's like, "I don't like the fighting." And then they both turn to me, and they're like, she's like, "She's just trying to make me look bad." And then Natsuki's like, "That's not true. She started it." So now they're fighting at each other over me. And then it's like, this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Yeah, what's the point of making poems all convoluted for no reason? Oops. I keep doing that. And then yeah, jump out of the reader. So now they're arguing about their style, deep expressive words, yeah, feelings. So now they're explaining to me their own poem styles, and I'm like, which one do I pick? How do I get dragged into this? It's not like I know anything about writing, and so I have to agree with one of them. And I think last time I said Yuri, so I'm gonna continue to say Yuri. I said, "Natsuki, you're right that I liked your poem, but you can't be so mean. You can't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different." And she's like, "That's not what happened," even though that's totally what happened. And she said Yuri wouldn't take her poem seriously. And I was like, "Oh, that's not what she said." And I was like, "I understand, Yuri." And I was like, "You're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret I was impressed." But here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they still put their feelings into it. And so she felt threatened. And then Yuri's like, "Oh, I get it." And so then she says, "I'm sorry," and feels all sad. And then I said, "Natsuki, you took it too far." And I was like, "You got mad and you started like picking a fight." And I was like, "It wouldn't happen in the first place if you didn't pick a fight." And Natsuki's like, "Oh my god, I'm so like mad at you." And it was, she did things. And then Monica finally steps in and is like, "Natsuki, calm down." And then she's like, "You both said mean things." And then Yuri apologized. "Don't you think you should?" And Natsuki's like, "Meh." And then nobody's taking her side, so she's trapped. And she can't handle the pressure. I even feel bad for her. And then Sayori's like, "Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk to clear my head." And then I'm like, Sayori, she doesn't need to. And then she's like, "Bro, you know what? Yeah, I'm leaving." And then she's like, "I don't want to look at your stupid faces." And then she like runs away pretty much. And then she crumples up her poem and throws it in the trash, and Sayori feels bad, and then Monica's like, bro, why'd you do that? And then I look across the room, and you know, Yuri has her chin buried in her hands, you know, she's staring down, gingerly approach her, and then she feels bad, and I'm like, she's embarrassed, and I was like, and she's like, I can't believe I acted like that, and she's like, you probably hate me, and I'm like, no! Anyone could have gotten frustrated. And then I was like, you handled it well, and I don't think any less of you. And then she's like, okay, I believe you, thanks. I'm thankful to have you. And I'm like, okay. And then she's like, one more thing. You know, that thing that Natsuki said about, you know, I would never do anything so shameful. She saying she patted her bra. And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, huh? What did Natsuki say? And then, because, you know, me being a boy just completely went over my head. Didn't even think about it. And so now she's like, oh, never mind. We're not gonna, you know, let's go make some tea. Yeah, make enough tea for both of us. All right, everyone. It's about time for us to leave. How'd you all feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. It was worth it. It was all right. And then I was like, yeah, I'd say the same thing. It was neat to talk with everyone. And she's like, cool, let's do the same thing tomorrow. Maybe you learned something from your friends too, so your poems will come out even better. And I was like, yeah, I think to myself, I did learn a little more about the kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. And I nodded to myself with newfound determination. And Sayori's like, let's walk home together. And I was like, cool. And then so she's happy. And then it's been a while since we spent some time together. And then I'm enjoying it too, which is really nice. So we walk home together, and then I was like, what happened earlier? And then she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, you know, between Yuri and Natsuki. And I was like, does that happen often? And she's like, oh no, that's really the first time. And then I was like, they're both wonderful people. And then she's like, you don't hate them, do you? And I was like, no, why would you think that? I just wanted your opinion. I can see why they make good friends with you. And then she's like, ooh, good, you know. And then she's like, I like that I get to spend time with you. And then getting to see you get along with everyone is what makes you happy. And then everyone really likes you. And I was like, And she's like, every day it's gonna be fun. And then I'm like, oh, whatever. And then, you know, Sayori hasn't caught on to the situation. And she's like, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there? Ooh la la. And then we'll just have to see what the future holds. And then you pat her on the shoulder. And said that yourself more to her, but you know, easy to use Sayori as an internal monologue sometimes. And she's like, yay! And then we're like, okay, cool, let's do this. If something wasn't going over a high school boy's head, it would probably be that. Bedtime for you? All right, PJs. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. You sleep well. Good night, X-Dragon. I will see you later. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry, my ear is itchy. That's what I'm doing. Itching my ear. Just don't mind me. Not me for Darth. Okay, I figured. Okay, so now this time, because we feel bad that everyone was being mean to Natsuki, we're gonna try to get Natsuki. So blanket, cool. Lipstick, bubbles, music. Okay, not music. Twirl, no, not rose. Ribbon, yeah. Feather, no, not feather. Candy. Oh no. Pout. Yes. Kitty. Shiny. Sugar. Sparkle. Oh, not sparkle. Pink. Fluffy. Oh, not love. Lollipop. Parfait. Everybody loves parfaits. Parfaits are delicious. Games? Yay. Okay, we definitely got Natsuki that time. That was easy. Okay, one more sip of the water. We're breezing through this day. Also, I tried to make my background pink, but I couldn't quite get the right color. Wait, let me give it one more shot. Maybe it just needs to be, because I think it's too purple. I need to make it more red. That like didn't even change it. Well, it's making it worse. Yeah, no, I really can't achieve that like light shade of pink. Yeah, no. Pastels are hard to get when it's just RGB. It's close. It's my try. Best try. Okay. Here we go, another day passes, time for club, and then like getting more comfortable, and then entering the club room, and then Sayori says hi, and I'm saying hi, and I was like, she's in a good mood, and she's like, yeah, not used to you being in the club, and I was like, cool. simple thing to get you in a good mood, and it's always the simple things. And she's like, speaking of which, she's hungry. And then she's like, want to buy a snack? And I was like, no. And she's like, what? And then I was like, I have my reasons. And then it's like, take a look in your purse. And she's like, no reason. And then I was just like, I want to look at it. And she's like, retrieves her coin purse. And she gets it open, turns upside down, contents fell on the desk, only 2 small coins. So pretty much she was trying to get me to go to get some food and use my money, and she's being all sneaky. Don't make me feel guilty. And I was like, you deserve to feel guilty. And then Yuri laughs, and then Bunny's, I'm like, what? And then she was listening in, that she's embarrassed for listening in because she's always embarrassed. And then Sary's like, tell him to let me borrow some money. And then she's like, I don't get involved. And it's like, you should buy what you can reasonably afford. And then like, after pulling a mischievous little stunt, you know, suffer fair retribution. And then she's like, whoa, what? And then she's like got absorbed in her book. And then Sary's laughing, and she's like, I like it when you speak your mind. And then still she's like always embarrassed. And she's like, she said revolution instead of retribution. And Sary's like, yeah, whatever. And then she's like, yeah, whatever, a little devil inside of us all, and isn't there? And then she's like, heh. Foreshadowing, little devil inside of us all. And like, I'm like, don't let her fool you. She knows exactly what she's doing. And she's bringing you to the club before she even told me. And she's like, I don't know, you wouldn't come before for the cupcakes, so I had to trick Natsuki into making them. And then, so it's like, you're giving me her more credit. And then she's oh, she got smacked. Out of nowhere, something smacks Sarah in the face and tumbles onto the desk. And she goes, ow. And then it was a cookie. A giant cookie wrapped in plastic, and then it's a miracle. It's because I paid my resolution. It's just retribution. And almost worked, and it was Natsuki, and she was gonna give it to you, but then I heard you blab about the cupcakes, and then so she threw it at her. So Natsuki bought her a cookie and threw it at her. And then Sayuri hugs the cookie, and she's like, just eat it. And then she tears open the paper and takes a good bite. And then she's like, oh, so good, nom, 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 nom. And claps her hands over her mouth, and she's like, I know my tongue. And then Natsuki laughs at her, and she's like, yeah, you're doing a lot over one cookie. And then she takes a bite of your own cookie, and then Sayuri's like, yours looks really good. Can I try it? And then she's like, beggars can't be choosers. And she's like, yours is chocolate. And it's like, why do you think I gave you that one? And she's like, fine. Still, I'm really happy you shared this with me. And she gets out of her seat, goes behind Natsuki, and then goes, nom, nom. Sticky still in hand, she reaches up to nudge Taylor off her shoulder, and she goes, hump, grabs and takes a bite out of the cookie, and she's like, hey. And then she's like, hee, and runs away. And everybody else laughs, except for Natsuki, who's like, you're a kid. And then she's like, Monica! And Natsuki's like, And then Natsuki glances around. Monica is in the club room, and she's like, huh, where is she? And then Yuri's like, that's a good question. Have you seen anything lately? And Sayuri's like, not me. And I was like, I haven't seen her. And she's like, And then it's like, that's unusual. Everybody hopes she's okay. And then she probably had something to do. She's pretty popular. And everybody's like, wait, you don't think she has what is this? What? A boyfriend? And then the door swings open, and she's like, I'm sorry. And then we're like, there you are. And it's like, I didn't mean to be late, and you weren't worried or anything. And then we're all like, what? Monica shows the club over her boyfriend. And then so strong-willed, and Monica's like, I don't have a boyfriend, and looks at me. And I was like, whatever, what held you up? And she goes, the last period was study hall, and just lost track of time. And then she's laughing, and she's like, make no sense, you would have heard the bell ring. And then she was practicing piano, and Yuri's like, what? I didn't know you played piano. And she's like, well, not really, just started. And she wanted to learn, and so everyone's like, that's really cool, and they're like, you should play for us. And Monica's like, and then looks at me, and she's like, once I get better. And then Sari's like, yay, and I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then so Monica's like, ooh, in that case, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I won't let you down. She smiles sweetly. And I was like, I didn't mean to pressure you. And she's like, don't worry. I've been practicing a whole lot recently, and I'd love a chance to share. And I was like, yeah, cool, best of luck. And she's like, thanks, didn't miss anything. And I was like, yeah, not really. And then so chose to leave out on Sayori's mischievous escapade. And then Natsuki wound up complaining about it probably. It looks like everybody's already settled down. And Sayori is already in the entire cookie. Yuri's back to the book. Natsuki's in the closet. And then I hear Natsuki under exasperated sigh from within the closet. She seems to be annoyed. You approach her in case she needs help. And then I'm like, you looking for something? And then she's like, oh, Monica, she never puts my stuff back in the right spot. What's the point of keeping the collection organized if someone else is gonna mess it up? And so she's sliding books around, and I was like, manga? And she's like, I read manga? And I'm like, sometimes I read manga. And then it's like one of those things you can't really admit, so you figure out where the other person stands. And I was like, how'd you know? And it's like, heard you bring it up at some point, and it's like kind of written all over your face. And I was like, okay, what's that mean? And then it's like the volume of manga there. So I was was curious, and I pull out a stack, and she's like, ah, there it is. She snatches the stack out of my hand, turns to a box of manga and slips the volume right into the middle of the set. She's like, ah, that's better. And then seeing the set with one book missing is probably the most irritating sight in the world, and I'm like, I know that feeling. We get closer to the box she's mine, Parfait Girls. I'm like, bruh, that's so weird. And then it's like totally out of her demographic or terrible. And then she's like, well, if you're not gonna judge, you can go through it in the glass door. And then she like points to the classroom, and I was like, I wasn't judging you. And then it was like the tone of your voice. And then she's like, I'll tell you one thing. It's a lesson straight from the literature club. Don't judge but by its cover. And he pulls out the first volume of Parfait Girls. It's gonna show you exactly why. She shoves the book at me, so now she's giving me a manga to read. It features cute girls, feminine attire, and she's like, don't stand there, go like read. She pulls me out of the closet, takes a seat against the wall, pats on the ground next to her. And I was like, wouldn't chairs be more comfortable? And I was like, chairs wouldn't work. We can't read at the same time like that. And I was like, what? Easier to be close together. And Natsuki's like, okay, well now I'm embarrassed and I feel weird, but she gets angry when she feels embarrassed. And I was like, I'm sorry. And it's like, didn't exactly expect to be sitting close, but it's like, what can you say? It's not a bad thing. So it's like, you open the book and it's only a few seconds before she gets closer, reclaiming the additional space, and you can feel her peering over his shoulder, more eager to begin reading than I am. And then she's like, wow, it's been a really long time since I've read this. And then I'm like, you don't go back and flip through the older volumes? And she's like, not really. And then like, maybe after I finish the whole series. And she's like, bro, you paying attention? I'm like, yeah, but nothing's really happened. And it's like just a bunch of friends in high school, like slice of life. And it's like, I grew out of these, bruh. Like, I don't really like this very much. And like, what should I expect? Is there gonna be plot? And then she's like, obviously, you think I would enjoy something that didn't have a plot? And it's like, a lot of the beginning is simple things, like a really funny chapter where they're obsessed with a guy in an ice cream shop, but that just helps you get to know the characters, and it's entertaining. And later on, there's all kinds of dramas, like when they get into their backstories and some of the romance starts to happen. That's really what makes it so good, and it's like there's so many touching parts. And it's like, oh, you really know what you're talking about. And I was like, maybe I underestimated you. And then she's all happy, and then she's like, wait, what's that supposed to mean? And I was like, I didn't mean it. And then she gives you a shove, and I'm like, I haven't seen you at your full power. And then she's like, good save. And it's like, this chapter is about baking. And it's just a guess, but a lot of baking in this manga. And she's like, yeah. And then it's like, why does that matter? It's like, just curious, you enjoy baking. And she's like, that's total coincidence, but I did happen to get into this manga at the same time as I got into baking. And it's never get into anything because it's in a manga. It's like, psh, I'd feel bad for anybody that impressionable, and it's like definitely not a coincidence. But you know, picking up obvious manga, that's totally okay. And she's really good at it. So what the like, it doesn't even matter. Look how adorable she is. I don't have a boyfriend, stares yet. Exactly. She like looks directly at me. She's like, all right, so I think we've gone for reading, finished a couple of chapters, and then I'm like, are you sure this is boring? And I was like, you're just watching me read? And she's like, I'm fine with that. It's fun sharing something with you, get excited, you convince your friends to do it, you know what I mean? And she's like, what? I was like, you don't do that? And then she's like, that's not, well, I wouldn't really know. What do you, and I was like, what do you mean? I was like, don't you share your manga with friends? And she's like, oh, cause you're not rubbing in, geez. And I was like, what? What am I rubbing in? And she's like, oh, I ever get any of my friends to read this? They just think manga is for kids. Can't even bring it up without them being all like, he's having good at it. Makes me want to punch him in the face. And I was like, oh, I know those kind of people, but it takes a lot of effort to find friends who don't judge you. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of a loser. So I gravitated to the other losers. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably harder for someone like you. And then she's like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. And I was like, wait, which part? And she's like, I can't even keep it in my own room. Like, don't know what my dad would do if he found. So it's like I found it, put it in the club room. And then Monica was kind of a jerk about it. She just can't win. Paid off in the end, right? I mean, it's like, here reading it. And then she's like, yeah, I mean, it solves most of my problems. And I'm like, but you're enjoying yourself. And she's kind of like, and we're all like, pfft. And then she's like, keep reading. And I'm like, okay, flip the page. And then Natsuki starts laughing. And then she's like, something happens. She looks at one of the panels, and she's like, Minori is my favorite character. And then it's like, you always feel bad for her because she's unlucky. And then it's like, yeah, it gets especially bad. And then she's like, uh-oh, I can't talk about that. That's spoiler. And then her voice sparkles with excitement, stark contrast to her bossy tone, and then, like, you know, she's sharing her favorite part of her manga, and it's really cute, and it's like expressing feelings when you're with someone. And you gotta provide that to Natsuki, because she doesn't get that very often, and it makes me smile. And then Monika's like, cool, and then we're like, and then she's like, are you ready to read poems? And I was like, pfft. And then Natsuki's like, bruh! And she's like, sorry, we gotta have enough time to read poems. You look pretty cozy. And then Natsuki gets embarrassed because she called us cozy. And then she notices and she hastily slides away the good 12 inches. And then, you know, it's like, guess I'll stop here for now. I close the book and hand it to Natsuki. And she's like, you're just giving it back? You don't want to know how it happens? And I was like, not really, but... and then she's like, just take it home with you. And I was like, is that really all right? And then didn't plan on using your spare time to read this. And she's like, well, of course, you could, you know, take it forever to finish it if you didn't take it home. Just finish that one before tomorrow so we can start the next one. And if it gets bent, I'll kill you. And I was like, by tomorrow. I only got partway through the volume so far. Might fall behind on some shows if I try to get through this, but it's a necessary sacrifice. So he's gonna start reading because he's embarrassed if he doesn't finish it. And then slips the book into the bag. All right, let's go talk to Monika. Monika says, hello! How's the writing going? And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. And then she's like, it's whatever. And it's like, happy you're applying yourself and you could come up with a masterpiece. And I was like, don't hold your breath. And she's like, maybe. So I want to share? And I was like, here you go. And then she reads it and she goes, she likes it. And I was like, really? And she's like, it's a lot cuter than I expected. And then she laughs and I'm like, and she's like, I know, it kind of makes me think of Natsuki. And she's a good writer. And so it's like, to take that as a compliment. And I was like, oh, okay, if you say so. And she's like, yeah, by any chance have you read anything by Shel Silverstein? And I was like, maybe. And then he's like, yeah, famous for telling stories in a few words. Poems can be funny, endearing, even sad. And sometimes they're only a few lines long. They might even feel like they're written for kids. And then, you know, they can express views of the world that apply to anyone. And I'm like, cool. So Natsuki's kind of like that. And she's like, yeah, a little bit. Maybe she's not an expert, but you probably wouldn't find much filler in her poems. They might be easy to write, but they're super challenging to get the meaning through. It's like, yeah, you can see you're kind of prone to explore. Anyway, you want to read my poem? I like the way this one turned out, so I hope you do too. And I was like, yeah, let's take a look. Save me, the colors, they won't stop. Bright, beautiful colors, flashing, expanding, piercing, red, green, blue, an endless cacophony of meaningless noise. The noise, it won't stop. Violent, grating waveforms, squeaking, screeching, piercing. Sine, cosine, tangent. Like playing a chalkboard on a turntable. Like playing a vinyl on a pizza crust. An endless poem of meaningless load me. Oh, this makes a little more sense the second time through. The save me, load me. I am a cheeseburger! Hanging out with Sayori this evening. Unfortunately, yes. Which, by the way, we have actually technically restarted Doki Doki because I lost my progress, but we're speed running it because I want to get to the stuff I haven't got to yet. So then I'm like, wow, this is much more abstract. And she's like, that's the way I write. I'm sorry if you don't like it. And I was like, I didn't say I didn't like it. It's just like, I've never seen it. And she's like, I like playing with space. And she's like, changing the space is like magic. And then like writes really short lines and really long lines. I was like, hard to tell what it's about. And she's like, asking what a poem about isn't the right question. It's like, it'd be an abstract expression of a feeling or a conversation with the reader. Not every poem is about something. And she's like, anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes you'll find yourself facing difficult decisions. When that happens, don't forget to save your game. You never know what might change your mind. So she's telling me how to save the game. And then she's like, what? This isn't even about writing. I just broke the fourth wall. Thanks for listening. I write in C+. Exactly. Ugh. Man, speed running through Doki Doki Literature Club is like low-key kind of exhausting. Alright, Natsuki next, because we wrote this poem to impress Natsuki. Alright, Natsuki, she reads the poem, she keeps glancing at you, and she must have read it more than once, and then she's like, aren't you supposed to be bad at this? And then I'm like, that's a compliment. And she's just like, expected less after yesterday, and I was like, I got lucky, and she's like, yeah, you just got lucky, and then she's like, don't get used to it, you won't always be able to write something cute, and then she's like, I meant well written, and I was like, haha, my poem's cute, and I said, no, why are you smiling? And like, Natsuki shoves the poem back and is like, reading it again, decides not so great. It's too cute and Doki Doki. Only impress, girls who like those kinds of things. And then, she's incredibly easy to see through. And she's like, whatever, you're gonna read mine. And I was like, you'll probably like it a lot, learn something too. Don't forget who the real pro is. Oh, I like this one. Amy likes spiders. You know what I heard about Amy? Amy likes spiders. Icky, wriggly, hairy, ugly spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a cute singing voice. I heard her singing my favorite love song. Every time she sang the chorus, my heart would pound to the rhythm of the words, but she likes spiders. That's why I'm not friends with her. One time I hurt my leg really bad. Amy helped me up and took me to the nurse. I tried not to let her touch me. She likes spiders, so her hands are probably gross. That's why I'm not friends with her. Amy has a lot of friends. I always see her talking to people. She probably talks about spiders. What if her friends start to like spiders too? That's why I'm not friends with her. It doesn't matter if she has other hobbies. It doesn't matter if she keeps it private. It doesn't matter if she doesn't hurt anyone. It's gross, she's weird, the world is better off without spider lovers, and I'm gonna tell everyone. Not bad, right? And I was like, wow, it's longer. And she's like, yeah, yesterday was too short. I was just warming up. And she's like, that wasn't the best I could do. And I was like, whatever. And then the message is pretty straightforward. Don't have to explain it. It's like complicated issues with simpler analogies. Help people to realize how stupid they're being. Like anyone would agree the subject of this poem is an ignorant jerk. And I was like, do you know people like that? And she's like, yeah, everyone thinks, whatever. It could be about anything. Wrote it to be easy to relate to. Everyone has some kind of weird hobby or guilty pleasure. Something you're afraid if people find out they make fun of you. And then it's like, but that doesn't make people stupid. Who cares about that? They're not hurting anyone. It makes people happy. Yeah, people need to respect each other for liking things. And I'm like, yeah, preach. I can relate to that. And a lot of people can. And then she's like, yeah, it's what makes it good. It's a good message to take away. Conveying emotions. You want to make people to think, not just feel. Remember that. I'm going to write a good one for tomorrow too, so look forward to it. Spiders feels like a euphemism. Save the game. Exactly. Alright, time for Yuri, who's gonna hate my poem. It's my turn. Let me see how it compares to yesterday's. And she's like, it's a bit different. I respect you for trying different things. You're inspired by Natsuki or Sayori. And I was like, yeah, you could say that. And then she's like, yeah, happy for you. You don't need to find inspiration in my poems. All right, for myself, not for anyone else. And she's like, you don't have to compare to me. And then she gets all embarrassed. And I was like, you're overthinking this. And I was like, just because it's different doesn't mean I don't like yours. It's like if I tried to do something in your style, I'd probably just do a bad job. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, my stupid mind. And then she's like, you don't need to be afraid to be a little more daring. Metaphors can go a long way. Don't feel like you need to work your brain and turn a bunch of gears. Let your mind wander through your feelings and write down the things you see and hear. And then, so then people can see into your mind. And then I was like, oh, cool, I see. Interesting technique. Thanks for sharing. And then she's like, yeah, Meg, you can read my poem if you want to see an example. And then hands me your poem. The raccoon. It happened in the dead of night while I was slicing bread for a guilty snack. My attention was caught by the scuttering of a raccoon outside my window. That was, I believe, the first time I noticed my strange tendencies as an unordinary human. I gave the raccoon a piece of bread, my subconscious well aware of the consequences, well aware that a raccoon that is fed will always come back for more. The enticing beauty of my cutting knife was the symptom. The bread, my hungry curiosity. The raccoon, an urge. The moon increments its phase and reflects that much more light off my cutting knife. The very same light that glistens in the eyes of my raccoon friend. I slice the bread, fresh and soft. The raccoon becomes excited, or perhaps I'm merely projecting my emotions onto the newly satisfied animal. The raccoon has taken to following me. You could say that we've gotten quite used to each other. The raccoon becomes hungry more and more frequently, so my bread is always handy. Every time I brandish my cutting knife, the raccoon shows me its excitement. A rush of blood. Classic Pavlovian conditioning. I slice the bread, and I feed myself again. Raccoons are lit. So, technically, I don't know what Yuri's deal is, but based off of everything we see when we're working on the poster together, I feel like I do know what Yuri's deal is, and this poem makes even more sense knowing what her deal is. The weird urges. And then she's like, a little more daring. And I was like, yeah, you can say that. It's more metaphorical. And it's like, I don't know if it's my fault, but I can't figure out what it's about. And then she's like, it's preferred writing style. Use a canvas to express vivid imagery, communicate emotions. Take it at face value, can't figure out what it's supposed to mean. And she's like, I think it's something different people can relate to in their own way, express what it feels like to indulge in her unusual hobbies. Yeah, that's not what it's about. Yeah, that usually forced to keep to yourself, sometimes enjoy writing about them, that's funny. And then it's like, Natsuki also wrote something, being ridiculed by strange interest, and she's like, she did? And I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter what you're into, unless like you're not hurting anybody. As long as you're not hurting anybody. And then she's like, yeah, do you really feel that way? And I'm like, yeah, you have that in common. And she's like, that's interesting. Person who'd make fun of my hobbies, and that's my fault for judging. And it's like, don't tell her I said that. And I'm like, don't worry. And she's like, okay, thanks for sharing. And I was like, yeah, if I don't embrace my own weirdness, I'd probably hate myself. And now she's ranting. And then she's like, I'm glad you're a good listener. Last up, Sayori. Sayori's like, yay, I like this one. It has nice feelings in it. I'm glad. Does that mean it's better than yesterday's? And she's like, let me think. I don't know. I guess I like them both. Hee hee. Not very helpful, you know. Not good at figuring poems are good or bad. That's why I just go by my heart. If it makes me feel good, then it's a good poem. I like that methodology. Just like, if I like it, it's good. Not sure exactly how it works. Then again, conveying feelings is a pretty important part of the whole thing. And I was like, okay, don't even know what kind of writing you like. And then she's like, yeah, me neither. And I was like, why don't you at least try giving it some thought? And I was like, you want to write something for me? Oh, that's so sweet. And I was like, yeah, right. But you're always thinking about other people. You don't need to think about yourself every once in a while. You might end up getting hurt. And then she's like, what? And I was like, I don't really know what you mean, but I'll keep it in mind. She looks so confused right now. It's adorable. And I'm like, whatever. And then she's like, okay, let's see. I like happy poems, but sometimes I like sad poems and a little bit of both. There's a word for that, right? A word for is bittersweet. She likes bittersweet poems. Things that are happy and things that are sad. It's like, I can't see you liking something sad. And she's like, well, I'm happy the most. Sometimes when you have a little rain cloud in your head, a sad poem can help give the rain cloud a little hug. Yeah, it makes a happy little rainbow. And then she's like, I was like, I didn't expect that. And she's like, well, I'm getting better at expressing my feelings. And she's like, I should write that down. You can read my poem. Bottles. The infamous Bottles poem. Probably the best. I think a lot of people think this is the best poem in Doki Doki. Bottles. I pop off my scalp like a lid of a cookie jar. It's the secret place where I keep all my dreams. Little balls of sunshine all rubbed together like a bundle of kittens. I reach inside with my thumb and forefinger and pluck one out. It's warm and tingly, but there's no time to waste. I put it in a bottle to keep it safe. And I put the bottle on a shelf with all the other bottles. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in bottles all in a row. My collection makes me a lot of friends. Each bottle a starlight to make amends. Sometimes my friends feel a certain way, down comes a bottle to save the day. Night after night, more dreams, friend after friend, more bottles. Deeper and deeper my fingers go, like exploring a dark cave, discovering the secrets hiding in the nooks and crannies, digging and digging, scraping and scraping. I blow dust off my bottle caps. It doesn't feel like time elapsed. My empty shelf could use some more. My friends look through my locked front door. Finally all done, I open up and in come my friends. They come in such a hurry. Do they want my bottles that much? I frantically pull them down from the shelf, one after another, holding them out to each and every friend, each and every bottle. But every time I let one go, it shatters against the tile between my feet. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts in shards all over the floor. They're supposed to be for my friends who aren't smiling. They're all shouting, pleading, something, but all I hear is echo, 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 echo inside my head. I was like, holy crap. And I was like, did you write this? And she's like, yeah. I didn't tell you I was gonna write the best poem ever. And I was like, I didn't expect something like this. And then she's like, Monica taught me. I've been getting in touch with... Wait, Monica? Monica taught her to get in touch with her feelings. You guys know I already have my suspicions about Monica. And this is just further like bolstering my suspicions. Oof. Oof. Foreshadowing part bajillion. Yeah, and there've already been, like, I feel like the big foreshadowing moments I've, like, paused to acknowledge, but there's also been, like, a million mini foreshadowings that I haven't, like, stopped at. I mean, every single poem is, like, major foreshadowing. I was like, yeah, I see that. It's kind of creepy. And she's like, huh? And I was like, well, not exactly. So used to you being cheerful. And like, never mind, I'm thinking too hard. And it came out good. And then she's like, thanks. And it's like meant to express myself this way. Helps understand your own feelings. Writing is like magic. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Keep it up. And she's like, yay, writing's the best. I'm going to keep writing it. She just said, I'm gonna keep writing until I die. Well, bye. Oh my gosh. Wait, are you actually heading out or was that a joke? Either way, it's fine. I'm just curious. Lol, see ya. It's like watching a movie a few times. Yeah. So Sayori gets obsessed with something before dropping it like a week later. Wonder if this is one of those times. Seeing a passion in your eyes makes it hard to be pessimistic. Oh, both? Okay, that's fair. Well, I shall see you later side. It's 12:30. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's totally fair. Okay, everyone, we're all done reading each other's poems. Extra planning today. Everyone come to the front of the room. I'm like, is this about the festival? I'm like, she's like, sort of. And it's like, do we have to do something? It's not like we can put together anything good. And she's like, we'll just end up embarrassing ourselves. And then it's like, I'm concerned. They're both like not very good at last minute preparation. She's like, don't worry, we'll keep it simple. We won't need much more than a few decorations. And it's like, Sayori's been working on posters, designed some pamphlets. And she's like, okay, that's great, but it doesn't tell us what we're actually doing. And she's like, oh, I thought you heard about it. We're gonna be performing. And Natsuki's like, what? And Yuri's like, what? And then they're both like, we're gonna have a poetry performance. We're gonna read a poem during the event. It's so cool. They're gonna come up and read it. And then Sayori's putting it all on the posters. Anyone can prepare ahead of time. And then she's like, yay! Coloring a poster holds up for us to see. And then she's like, you didn't tell us to start putting up this, or she's like, you didn't already start putting up the posters. And she's like, yeah, I totally did. And then she's like, you think it's that bad of an idea? And she's like, I didn't sign up for this. And they're like, no way I'm gonna be performing in front of a group. And Yuri's like, me neither. I could never do that. And then she shakes in fear, and then both Sayori and Monica are like, come on. But they're sad, and they're like, I get it. And they never shared their poems before, a lot to ask of them. And then Monica's like, oh, I overlooked that, I'm sorry. And then it's like, I still think we should give it our best. We're the only ones responsible for the fate of the club. If we start the event, each put on a good performance, it'll inspire others to do the same. Excuse me. And the more people who perform, the better we'll be able to show everyone what literature is all about. And then Sayori's like, yeah, it's about expressing your feelings, being intimate with yourself, finding new horizons, having fun. Yeah, all those reasons. We're in the club. Let's share that with each other. You know, inspire people. Yeah, that's what we do. It takes standing in front of a room for 2 minutes and reciting a poem, then I know you can do it. And they're both like, I'm not so sure. And then they looking worried. And I go, I agree. I don't think that's too much to ask. But I think Sayori and Monica, and then I went, I missed that last one. It's clicking too fast. We can help them out a little bit. It's like, I did it again. Oh wait, I can read it. I think that Sayori and Monica have been trying really hard to get new members, and it's the least we can do. Yeah, maybe, but whatever. It looks like Natsuki doesn't have any arguments left. Blah, blah, blah. Get over it. All right, phew, thanks. Woo. Everyone, then Yuri's like, fine. I guess I'll do it. And then, yay, that's everyone. And then seriously gonna be the death of me? I know we haven't gotten to, like, her death yet, but let's just be real. They're all gonna die, aren't they? You'll be fine. But anyway, let's move on to the main event. Each of you choose a poem of yours. You're gonna practice reciting them. What? Oh, it's too sudden. You can't. If you can't recite in front of the class, how can you do it in front of strangers? And she's like, what? She's like, don't worry. Start off to help everyone feel more comfortable. And then Sayori's like, I want to go next. And she's like, yeah, for sure. Flips your notebook to a specific poem she has in there for yourself. Stands behind the poem. Title of the poem is "The Way They Fly." And then she's like, she begins reciting the poem. Clear, confident voice. She applies emotion behind each line, something she's done before, or she's just a natural. Everyone has their eyes on her. Sayori's amazed. Yuri has an intense expression, and Monica finishes the recitation. Everybody applauds it. She takes a breath and smile, and she's like, wow, it was so good. And she's like, thanks, I was hoping to set a good example. Ready to go next, Sayori? And then Yuri's like, no, I'll go next. And I was like, what? Yuri's like, and then she keeps her head down, walks over to the podium. This poem is called, she glances at each of us. You can do it, Yuri. It's called After Images of a Crimson Eye. That sounds cool. Her voice shakes as she starts reading the poem. Just a moment ago, she practically refused to do this. Why is she suddenly putting in so much effort? As Yuri gets past the first couple lines, her voice changes. So it's like she gets absorbed in her books. Her quivering words transform into the sharp syllables of a fierce and confident woman. The poem is full of twists and turns and structures and that she enunciates with perfect timing. This must be a rare glimpse of the whirling fire Yuri keeps concealed inside of her head. Suddenly, she's finished. Everyone is stunned. She snaps back to reality, and then she's bewildered, and then she's like, it's up to me to save the situation. So I start applauding. Everybody joins me, and we give Yuri the recognition she deserves. It's not like we didn't want to applaud for her. We were just caught so off guard. As we applaud, Yuri holds her poem to her chest and rushes back into her seat. I like how they make her go, nyoing. It's cute. And then Mona's like, that was good, thank you for sharing. And then it's like, look, Yuri is down for the count. And then now Sayori goes. And then she hops up in the chair, out of the chair of the poem, and she called My Meadow. And then she's like laughing because she's embarrassed. And then she's like, it's harder than I thought. How did you guys do it so easily? And then she's like, try not to think of it like you're reciting to other people. Imagine you're reciting it to yourself or in your head. And it comes out better that way. And she's like, okay then. And then she starts to read her poem. And it feels like her soft voice is a perfect match. The poem isn't aimlessly cheery like Sayori is. It's serene and bittersweet. If I were to read this on paper, I probably wouldn't think much of it, but hearing it come from Sayori's voice gives it a whole new meaning. Maybe this is what she meant when she said she likes my poems. I could get to reach more deeply into someone I thought I knew. She finishes, we applaud, and she's like, yay! And we're like, good job! And then he's like, hey, even Bunny liked it. I guess that's a good sign. I was like, what does that mean? And then Monika's like, you did a good job. It fits you nicely. It might be that other poems wouldn't work quite as well with that kind of delivery. And she's like, I don't get it. And I was like, in other words, I've seen poems of you that were more gentle delivery wouldn't work as well. They might need a little more force behind them depending on what you're reading. And then she's like, oh, I get it. Yeah, I've been practicing that kind of thing. It's just embarrassing to do in front of everyone. And it's like, next time I'm gonna make you pick a poem that challenges you a little more. We don't have much time before the festival, you know. And she's like, okay. And who's next? Natsuki? And then she's like, ugh, don't make me go before Bunny. It's not like I compare to you guys anyway. Might as well let Bunny lower everyone's standards. And then she's like, that's me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I might as well get it over with. Much of a selection to read. I'll just have to go with what I wrote today. Stand up in front of the podium. Everyone has their eyes on me. Recite the poem. Not exactly confident. It's hard to put energy into it. Despite that, once I finish, I receive applause anyway. Sorry, I'm not really good at this. And she's like, don't worry about it. It's less about your abilities and more about your lack of confidence in your writing. That's something that'll improve over time, though. I was like, maybe. I was like, okay, cool. Natsuki's up. And she's like, yeah, I get it. And then she begrudgingly gets out of her seat and makes her way back to the podium. The poem is called, Why Are You All Looking at Me? And she's like, because you're presenting. And she's like, oh, whatever. What's the poem called? Jump. The poem is called Jump. She takes a breath. She starts reciting the poem. Her sour attitude disappears. She's a little unenthused. Her poem has a rhythm and rhyme to it. It's Natsuki's trademark style and works surprisingly well when spoken aloud. The words feel like they bounce up and down, boing, 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 as if giving life to the poem. She finishes and everyone applauds. She huffs back to her seat. That wasn't so bad, and she's like, easy for you to say. You better not make me do that again. She's like, well, you are gonna have to, do it again. And then she's like, doing it in front of other people would be way easier. You can put on whatever face I want for other people, but it's just your friends. It's just embarrassing. I get that. It would be easy the other way around for me. Well, that's just not how it is. So it's like, oh, in that case, you won't have much to worry about for the festival. I want to thank everyone for coming. It might be hard, but you have any idea of what it's like. Make sure you pick a poem and get enough practice before the festival. I'll be making pamphlets, so let me know ahead of time what you'll be reciting. And I was like, geez, I should probably find something other, like, poem to recite. And then she's like, yeah, that's fine. It doesn't have to be your own poem. I'm already pleasantly surprised they were putting all this effort into the club. It makes me really happy. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And she's like, okay, everyone, that's it for today. Festival's coming up. Try to write your poems tomorrow. It's been working out really nicely so far. Try to continue that. We'll finish up planning tomorrow, and then I have weekend to prepare. Monday's the big day. Can't wait. I can do this. Alrighty. And then I stand up. There's no way I'll be able to find the same enthusiasm as Sayori, but I'll do my best. It's for the sake of the club, and I'm impressing Monika. Then I'll have to do my best. And it's like, all right, let's get ready to go. And it's like, oh, always going home together. It's kind of adorable. And she's like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, don't make a big deal out of it. And then Yuri's like, I'm jealous. And I'm like, I'm embarrassed. How am I supposed to respond? And I was like, yeah, you don't have to say it. And then like, okay, let's go. And so I walk home with Sayori, even though it's only been a few days, a lot has already changed. Sayori's being quieter than usual. And I'm like, hey, Sayori. And like, sorry, I was spacing out. And I was like, no wonder. And she's like, I was thinking about something from earlier. Like how we get to, I was just like, fumbling. And she's like, what if Natsuki asked to walk home with you? And she's like, what would you do? I'm like, what kind of question is that? It's like putting me on the spot. And then she's like, Okay, I think I said I would walk home with Natsuki, so I'm gonna do that again. Pew. Walking home with Natsuki, huh? Why does the thought of that make my heart pound? I mean, I think I'd be afraid what she'd do to me if I turned her down. Isn't she so cute and fun to be around? That has nothing to do with what I just said. You admitted it! Jeez. There isn't even a point to speculating something that's never gonna happen. And it's like, well, I just like to think about it. It's not long before you won't need me anymore. Sayori, I can't figure out how you're seeing things in your head right now. Sorry, everyone's a little different. Nobody in the club is a replacement for you. And if you say so, the conversation trails off, but I'm left feeling awkward. It's kind of her fault for trapping me with such a weird question. I can't just lie to her, but if there's something that makes her happy, I would hate to take that away from her. And so there's no point speculating. Then again, festival's only a few days away. Who knows what'll happen in that time? Gotta admire Natsuki's honesty, even if she has the surgical precision of a cast iron fly soul hunter. Yep, accurate. Okay, we're going back for Yuri again. Massacre. Vitality. Intellectual. Essence. Unending. Oh, shoot. Passion. No! Broken. No! Misery? No! I mean, what if I actually do get Sayori? Save. Vivacious? Okay, good. Vertigo. Question? Okay. Breathe. Yes. Destiny? Okay. Heaven sent. Yes. Okay, we're doing better. Precious? No! Embrace! No! I'm doing so bad! Determination! Okay, good. Existence? Unrequited. No! Oh no, I might have gotten Sayori. I might have gotten Sayori. What do I do? Should I play through it or should I go back? Oh man, I'm the last one here again. Don't worry, I just walked in. Were you practicing piano? And she's like, yeah, haha. Must have had a lot of determination starting this club and now picking up piano. Maybe not determination, but passion. Wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you, and happy that you're all willing to help out with the festival. It's like, yay, can't wait, it's gonna be great. And I was like, what? Weren't you complaining about it just yesterday? And I was like, yeah, I'm not talking about our part of the festival. Whole day where the school gets to eat all kinds of delicious foods. Like, you get to sound like Sayori. It's like, do they usually have fried squid? And she's like, squid, that's a pretty specific thing to look forward to. Oh, and they're making a pun about her name. Yeah, it's a pun about the name. That joke makes no sense in translation. Breaking the fourth wall. Never mind, let's just focus on our own event. Fine, your reactions aren't as fun. And the what? Where is Sayori? Oh, there you are. Sayori's sitting at a desk in the corner room looking down at nothing. Aww. I waved my hand in front of her face. And then she's spacing out. And she's like, sorry. Don't mind me. You can go talk to everyone else. And I was like, what? Is everything all right? And she's like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't it be? It just feels like you're a little off. And I'm like, sorry for assuming things. And she's like, you worry too much. I'm fine. Shows a big smile. It makes me so sad. Don't let me distract you. And I'm like, okay, if you say so. I glance at Sayori before turning back to everyone else. Everyone else is already dispersed, back to their usual activities. Asking Monica if she's seen anything. They've been preparing for the festival a lot, so they've been spending a lot of time together. So I go to Monica and she's like, what's up? And I was like, this might be strange, but is Sayori weird and then like up with her? What do you mean? And I was like she seems a bit downcast. And she's like, oh, you think so? I can't say I've noticed anything. And then she peers across the room, who's idly dragging a rubber eraser up and down her desk. And then maybe there's something on her mind, but I'm surprised I'm not the one asking you. You certainly know a lot better than I do. And I was like, yeah, she's never like this. It's like she always talked to me about things that bothered her, but this time when I asked her, she was really dismissive. I know it's not your problem. I just wanted to know if you knew anything. And then she's like, no, it's important to me too. I mean, I'm also friends with her and I care about the well-being of my club members. I'll try talking to her myself. And they're like, yeah, sure about that? She seemed like she wanted to be left alone. I'm like, are you sure? Maybe she was just having a hard time bringing it up with the person of interest. Person of interest? What do you mean by that? I'm saying that maybe the things on her mind is you. Me? How on earth can you come to that conclusion? Well, she likes you. Probably shouldn't say too much, but Sayori talks to you more than anyone else. I was like, oh, she's been much happier since you've been around the club. It's like an extra light was turned on inside of her. What? No way. And it's like, she's always like that. She's always been full of sunshine. It's not any different now than it's always been. And she's like, haha, you dummy. You've always thought that maybe you've only seen her cheerful because that's just how she is around you. And then she's like, I've said too much. Didn't mean to jump to conclusions. I'll try to talk to her. And then I'm like, okay. Monica smiles meaningfully. I know she said to forget about it, but I already know I won't be able to get her words out of my head. She stands up from her desk and walks across the room to where Sayori is sitting. I watch her kneel down next to Sayori and gently talk to her, but she's keeping her voice so quiet I can't hear her from here. I sigh and sit myself down. I know Sayori told me not to worry about her and have fun with everyone else, but that's impossible when she's behaving like this. I'm caring about her, and it's like I feel like I'm the one behaving out of the ordinary, but there's nothing I can do. Why does it feel like I'm being watched? Oh, it's Yuri. Okay, I did get Yuri. At least I'm pretty sure, because this is all the same. If we corrupt the arc, we can go back. Yeah. Okay, notice Yuri peering at me from over her book. She looks away because she's always embarrassed. Thank you for the hydrate. I actually noticed this one in like a reasonable time. And a posture check. I have to posture check myself at work all the time. It's hard to sit like properly for 10 hours. I mean, I'm not consistently sitting the whole time, but like most of the day is spent sitting. You know, I walk from one location to then sit at another. You know how it is. Desk jobs. Never really seen Yuri approach anyone or start a conversation, so you have no choice but to approach her. A little easier for you to do that, and then sit next to her. And then she's like, I didn't mean to bother you. And I was like, you didn't do anything. And then she's like, you wanted to be alone. And I was like, no, I didn't. And like, how could you tell I was thinking? And she's like, it's something I do a lot. It wasn't hard for you to spot you based off your posture. And she's like, I wasn't staring. I don't do creepy things. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. Sorry if I caused you any concern. And she's like, don't apologize. Your troubles are the only concerns I'm willing to share in that concern. Of course, there are certainly those who find the most comfort in keeping to themselves. She's like me. And then she's like, you could share, I'll listen. And I was like, not that big of a deal. Just feeling a bit uneasy about Sayori. And she's like, huh? And I was like, she seems off. She didn't want to talk about it. And like, can't help but wonder if something happened to her. And she's like, what? That's quite romantic. And then she's like, and I was like, sorry. Didn't mean to say something so stupid. And I'm like, it's not that. I just don't want you to misunderstand. We've been friends for a long time. She's like, oh, okay. It's unusual for her to be dismissive. And I'm like, I'm just reading into it. And then she's like, Bunny, world is full of meaning hidden deep beneath plain sight. The many untold mysteries behind every person, no matter how well you may know them. And I'm like, so you think there might be something hidden behind it after all? And she's like, I think they say Luri's a very complex person. Her mannerisms on the outside don't always match what may be going on inside her head. And she may not always know what she wants. I noticed her strange behavior today too, and I also feel some concern for her. But in your case, it looked like she was fully occupying your thoughts, wasn't she? I was like, I guess that was the case. And then she's like thinking about Sayori, she means a lot to you. And I was like, yeah, you don't have to put it that way. We're just friends. And then she looks deeply into my eyes. Her expression is gentle and curious. And then I'm embarrassed. And then she's like, a person's mysteries are untold even to themselves. And, you know, you gotta be honest and caring, uncover your feelings. And then she's like, I just think that it'd be a very fortunate person to have you feel that way about her. And I'm like, you're giving me too much credit. I'm a pretty simple guy. I think I'm pretty good understanding my own feelings. Not nearly as sophisticated as you. Shuri's like, that's not a compliment, is it? I'm like, what is it? And anyway, as long as we're here, we don't have to do some reading. And then she's like, yeah, let's read. And then I'm like, yeah, cool. Take my mind off things. And it's like, let's get started. And she's like, yay, actually, I have a request. Do you mind if we make some tea first? And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. And it's like, anything that can make reading here better is tea. And so she goes to the closet and then retrieves a water pitcher with a filter. And then she's like, hold this. And I'm like, cool. Hands me the water pitcher, fetches the electric kettle. I'm gonna go plug this in at the teacher's desk, go get some water, sets the kettle down, simply watch her. And then she's like, she really contrasts her speaking mannerisms. She has long legs, so she's elegant. So can I have the water pitcher? And she's like, thanks, I'll be right in the back. I might as well walk with you. Yeah, why not? Shall we go then? Like, cool. It's like, where are you two off to? And we're like, we're just getting to make some tea. Realize how weird it sounds. And it's like, we're just filling the water pitcher. And she's like, cool. It's just a bit curious. That kind of one-person job. And I'm like, yeah, but we're flirting. Mind your own business. Do you want to tell me that there's something wrong with helping involve Bunny in club activities? And we're like, And she's like, it's nothing wrong with that. And then she's like, let's go. And then quickly exits the room and I follow. And now we're out in the hallway. And then she's like, spoke without thinking. How could I say something like that? And I'm like, girl, you're thinking too much. The way she said that makes me feel so irritated. What's wrong with me? And we're like, no, Yuri, you did the right thing. Wasn't expecting it. But it's also not right for Monica to judge people. And then she's like, Bunny, how come you want to do something bad? You're being nice to me. And I was like, nothing you do is as bad as you make it seem. Nobody's perfect. We all have emotions. You always amplify things. Turns a light rain shower into a hurricane. And she's like, what? No, wouldn't you hate me for something as terrible as that? Why would I hate you? I can't hate someone for having emotions. What kind of friend would do that? She's like, we're friends. She lifts her head and she's like, I really like being friends with you. And I'm like, ha 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 ha, thanks. I like being friends with you too. I feel kind of awkward saying something like that. I'm doing my best to help Yuri feel better. I'm like, anyways, yeah, let's go get tea. Woo. We walk to the nearest water fountain. We fill up the water pitcher and return. It's like, do you like oolong tea? And I'm like, yeah, anything is fine. I was like, she's like, cool. And she sets the temperature to 200 degrees. Time to get the teapot. You really do this properly. And she's like, yeah, I shouldn't do anything less when I'm making tea for others, even if I'm not an expert. And then she's like, in that case, you'll be even more impressed. Perhaps I will. Yuri fetches the teapot and begins measuring the tea leaves. To my surprise, she even starts humming to herself. You must be good in mood now. Is that so? I was letting it show, and you noticed. I was doing a bit of thinking, and I decided that I would try expressing myself a bit more. It turns out it's not very hard for me to do. When it's you who's around anyway. And I'm like, that's great. Don't you push yourself. And she's like, you're always worrying about me. It's very endearing. She wasn't kidding. I don't even know if I can keep up with this. I watch Yuri pour a cup. I have another request. Do you mind if we can sit on the floor today? I'm like, why is that? It's like a little bit easier on my back. I can read with my back up against the wall rather than bending over my desk. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize. And she's like, yeah, no worries. Just have back pain fairly regularly. Do my best to manage it. That's so. I wonder why that is. It's most likely because your posture, right? Always hunched over like that while reading? Yeah, I have terrible reading posture. I thought she was gonna say it's because she has enormous boobs. So that's why we should sit on the floor. Fair enough. I'll go ahead and get the book. Retrieve the book from my bag, have some chocolate. It's a bag of small chocolate candies that I kept hidden from Sayori's candy radar. Take it and go well with the tea. Sit against the wall, teacups at our side. As if in sync, we assume the same reading position as last time, each holding one half of the book, except this time our bodies are even closer. Can't see too well. And then she slides closer until our shoulders are touching. How am I supposed to focus on reading like this? She's always kind of cute, but when she's being less apprehensive, it's more than I can handle. Your teacup. She hands me my teacup, holding it with my hands. That's not holding the book. I end up in a position that makes it even harder to focus because now I need to worry about making sure I don't accidentally touch her chest. Meanwhile, Yuri hasn't noticed a single thing. She wears her intense reading expression. I can only presume the world around her has faded away. Use all of my willpower to focus on reading. After a few minutes, I finally managed to relax a little. I put the teacup between my legs and fumble with the chocolate wrapper. Sorry. I briefly let go of the book to finish opening up the wrapper. You can have as much as you want. That's okay. I won't take any. Are you sure? Well, if I touch it, then I might get smudges on the paper. Oh, you're right. I didn't even think about that. My bad. No need to apologize. I'll hold the book. You sure? And she's like, yeah. So now she's holding the book. She holds it with both hands so I don't have any harder time reading from it. And then her left arm is practically resting on top of my leg. And then I'm like, in that case, already totally focused on reading. I take a chocolate candy and pop it into my mouth. Then I take another chocolate and I hold it up to Yuri. She doesn't even look away from the book. She simply parts her lips as if the situation was completely natural. But that means I can't stop here. I apprehensively place the chocolate in her mouth. And just like that, Yuri closes her lips over it. Yuri's expression suddenly breaks. Did I just... She looks at me like she needs to confirm what just happened. And then I'm like, sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And she's like, oh, well, you were just helping. It's something friends do. And I'm like, we were both embarrassed. Different context, yeah. And they were like, yeah. And they're like, you don't need to stop. And I was like, okay, I keep feeding you chocolate. She returns to the book, and I can tell by her expression that she can't focus now. My heart is pounding. I'd able to take another chocolate between my fingers, but this time Yuri's eyes meet mine. How did it come to this? Yuri doesn't divert her gaze. I notice her chest rising and falling to the rhythm of her breaths. I raise my arm. Like before, Yuri parts her lips, but this time it's different. Take the chocolate and place it in her mouth. I feel her hot breath on my fingers. And then it's Monica stops us. Boobies. She jolts back. It's time to share poems. You can put away the tea stuff, and it's like a spell is abruptly broken. Take care of the cups. It's like Yuri picks up the teacups from the floor. I pick up the bag of chocolates. We hastily clean up without so much as a word between us. We have a feeling it's something neither of us will have the courage to bring up. Monica! I always go with Monica first. Hi! So we're gonna read the poem to each other, and I'm like, well, being in this club is one thing, but performing is another. I'll have to give it some more thought. And she's like, okay, no pressure. We might, yeah. Sure, it'll turn out great. It makes me happy to see. Let's look at today's poem. So I give her the poem, and she's like, it's good. It feels like you're not only getting more comfortable with your style, but the imagery is better. Have you been finding inspiration in Yuri's writing style? And I'm like, I guess so. You can't deny that she's talented. And I'm like, she's like, yeah, totally. I think her poems are the most romantic. It's the best way to describe it. She's like a totally different person when she picks up a pen. And I was like, yeah, I noticed that. When she's talking about literature, and she's like, yeah, sadly, it's hard to get that much personal conversation out of her. She's like, trust me, I've tried. Who knows what goes on in her head? And I was like, I hope you don't mean that in the bad way. And she's like, of course not. I just meant I wish she didn't keep so much to herself. I'm like, still defending her like that. You must be pretty into her. I was like, bruh, you completely misunderstood. And she's like, calm down, I'm kidding. I'm pretty sure she's already got a boyfriend. I'm like, wait, really? She's like, yeah, fictional one. Kind of whispers that last part to me. It's just a hunch, but, well, there's not really anything wrong with that. It's like, oh, I know, I was just saying, anyway, I'll share my poem with you. And I'm like, all right. All right, the lady who knows everything. An old tale tells of a lady who wanders earth, the lady who knows everything, a beautiful lady who has found every answer, all meaning, all purpose, and all that was ever sought. And here I am, a feather, lost adrift the sky, victim of the currents of the wind. Day after day, I search with little hope, knowing legends don't exist. But when all else has failed me, when all others have turned away, the legend is all that remains, the last dim star glimmering in the twilight sky. Until one day the wind ceases to blow. I fall, and I fall and fall and fall even more, gentle as a feather, a dry quill, expressionless. But a hand catches me between the thumb and forefinger, the hand of a beautiful lady. I look in her eyes and find no end to her gaze. The lady who knows everything knows what I am thinking. Before I can speak, she responds in a hollow voice. I have found every answer, all of which amount to nothing. There is no meaning, there is no purpose, and we seek only the impossible. I am not your legend does not exist. And with a breath, she blows me back afloat, and I pick up a gust of wind. You know, I feel like learning and looking for answers are sort of things that give life meaning. Not to get too philosophical, kind of on my mind, so that's what I wrote about. Oh, I see. I never really put much thought into it. And it's almost paradoxical, because if we had all the answers, the world would start to lose meaning. You know, there's one thing I noticed. It seems like everyone in the club prefers about writing things that are more sad than happy. And I was like, are you surprised? If everything was okay, we wouldn't really have anything to write about. Humans are two-dimensional. I wouldn't think you'd know that better than humans aren't, whatever. You mean one-dimensional? Yeah, that. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Are you ever too shy to share your writing because you're afraid that it's not good? It can be really disheartening to get lukewarm response for something you put so much into. But you find other people who enjoy writing, and sharing becomes a lot easier, because instead of just telling you that your writing is good or bad or okay, they'll want to focus more on everything that went into it and the things you can work on. It's much more encouraging that way, and it will make you want to continue improving. It's almost like having your own little literature club, don't you think? That's my advice to the day. Thanks for listening. Yuri! She'll like my poem. Bunny, this is wonderful. I can feel the emotion. This is the result of trying what I suggested. It's like, yeah, I think so. You did a good job explaining. It's like I really want to try to give it more feeling. She visibly swallowed. Gloop. Even her hands appear sweaty. I'm not used to this. Used to what? I don't know. It's fine. Take your time. She breathes and collects her thoughts. She has to think before she speaks, so I offer her that patience. Just being appreciated. Aw, probably sounds really stupid. Seeing someone motivated by writing makes me feel really happy. Are you saying you've never shared your writing before? And she nods. I was like, wow, I don't believe it. You only write... And she's like, I only write for myself. Besides, people just laugh at me. Do you really think that? She nods. And I was like, huh, even your close friends? And then she doesn't respond. I'm like, Yuri. And she smiles sadly. And then she's like, during lunchtime, I eat by myself. Did you know that? It's a great time to find a quiet spot and do some reading. In fact, I always have some books with me. You could say I just really enjoy reading. Well, that's one way to put it. But books are so full of amazing, inspiring people you want to fall in love with, or people you just know would make really good friends. Cheerful people, they put a smile on your face, deep thinkers, problem solvers. When you look at it that way, I'm surrounded by friends every day. So sweet. Friends that don't laugh or tease, they don't make fun of her, and, you know, they don't hate you for acting like a know-it-all. And then she's like, I'm not a know-it-all. It's the opposite. I don't know anything. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to make people see me as normal. I don't know how to make myself happy. I have all these feelings. All I can do with them is read and write, but it wasn't until now I started sharing it with you that I really understood what I was missing all this time. I was like, I haven't done anything. And she's like, no, that's wrong. It's just being patient and respectful. It's really important. She's like, I'm a difficult person and I speak slowly. I second guess myself. I read too deeply into things, but every time you've always treated me like anyone else. It's so rare to feel comfortable. And that's why every time I talk to you, I just feel really happy. I was like, oh, I'll treat you how you deserve to be treated. If other people don't see it that way, then screw them. It's like I joined this club hoping I would make friends, and I would say I've at least had one success, wouldn't you? And then she's like, if you put it that way, yeah. We really are friends now, aren't we? She puts her head in her hands, but this time she's smiling. You want to show me your poem? And then she's like, yeah, I do. Let me get it for you. Beach. A marvel millions of years in the making, where the womb of Earth chaotically meets the surface. Under a clear blue sky, an expanse of bliss, but beneath gray rolling clouds, an endless enigma. The easiest world to get lost in is one where everything can be found. One can only build a sand castle where the sand is wet, but where the sand is wet, the tide comes. Will it gently lick at your foundations until you get in, or will a sudden wave send you crashing down in the blink of an eye? Either way, the outcome is the same, yet we still build sandcastles. I stand where the foam wraps around my ankles, where my toes squish into the sand. The salty air is therapeutic. The breeze is gentle yet powerful. I sink my toes into the ultimate boundary line, tempted by the foaming tendrils. Turn back and I abandon my peace to erode at the shore. Drift forward and I return to the earth forevermore. Beach, please. I'm aware that the beach is kind of an inane thing to write about, but I did my best to take a metaphorical approach to it. You say that like you didn't even want to write about it. Oh, haven't you heard? After yesterday, well, Natsuki and I wrote about the same thing in different ways. Natsuki wanted us to write about the same topic. Better compare the differences in our writing styles or thought process. Anyway, it was her idea, which is also really sweet. It's no surprise that she wanted to do something like that. She probably just wants to show off. It's not like I have a particular interest in her writing style. I just went with her request. Well, I suppose it's not bad to write about something simple on occasion. It can be refreshing. It's good for me to calm my thoughts once in a while. And I was like, yeah, I agree. Thanks for sharing. All right, now let's check out Natsuki's, because it's also about the beach. And then she's like, meh, haven't really learned anything. I was like, I don't know why I got my hopes up. She's like, I didn't think it was that bad. What did I do wrong? And then she's like, they don't need to be all deep sounding to express something. It's gonna just sound like you're forcing it unless you don't really suck at it. It's like, don't bother trying to write poems like this until you're on Yuri's level. And then she stops all of a sudden, and then she's like, oh, you're not trying to impress Yuri. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Keep your voice down. She's like, Yuri would love this kind of angsty. I was like, just because she's a talented writer doesn't mean. And she's like, it looks like I'm in trouble. Somehow I struck a nerve. Though what I did is beyond me, of course. Right over his little high school head. I'm so done with you. Nori shoves the poem I handed her back over to me. Take your stupid poem if you wrote it for someone else. Just don't show it to me. I was like, ouch. That's what I get for letting a younger girl step into my business. Unless I was a mind reader, I was destined to be a world in pain from the start. At least Natsuki wasn't really the girl I was trying to impress in the first place. Wait, she didn't even show me her poem. I forgot that she didn't get to show me her poem. She's like, it's nice. I can already tell you don't like it. And she's like, well, you don't need to worry about what I think. After all, you wrote this for someone else, didn't you? Probably Yuri. And then she's like, I didn't write this for anyone. That's not really what I meant though, but it's okay. You're making new friends, just like I was hoping. That makes me really happy. And you're happy too, right? In this club? And I was like, yeah, I am. And she's like, yay, that's all that matters. Thank you. And then I'm like, Sayori, is there something wrong? And she's like, no, just a little tired. That's always the excuse. Hee hee. And I'm like, whatever, just tell me if you need anything. She's like, don't worry, you can go play with everyone else now. I'm like, if you insist. And she's like, yay, I'm gonna go home a little bit early today. I was like, Sayori, tell Monica I wasn't feeling well, okay? I'll see you tomorrow. And then she cheerfully walks out of the classroom, humming to herself. Aww. Okay, you three, we're all done sharing poems, right? Why don't we start figuring out... Hold on a second, is it just me or did you say something strange just now? Something did sound a bit unusual. That's right. You deviated from your usual catchphrase when addressing the club. Catchphrase? I don't have a catchphrase. And she's like, why is the mood so weird? Even Yuri isn't immune to it. She likes stagnating air as common foreshadowing that something terrible is about to happen. In your books! Look, the only thing different is that Sayori isn't here. Oh, it seems like you're right. Sayori always helps lighten the mood a bit, doesn't she? It's almost like everyone's balance is thrown off when she's not around. Where the heck did she run off to? I thought she would just went to pee. Please show some decency. Oh, come on. Wasn't feeling well and went home early. Oh, I hope she's all right. Seriously, all the times to go home, you pick the time she's not feeling well. So much, with all the times for you not to go home with her, you pick the time she's not feeling well. So much for you two being all lovey-dovey. Also, I just realized I can... Oh, wait, give me a second. I can move it down at least a little bit. My camera, that is. And I was like, what? No. First of all, stop misunderstanding my friendship. And second of all, she's been avoiding me all day, so I don't that curious expression coming from you, Yuri, of all people. And she's like, calm down. I talked to her earlier. Everything's fine. I'm like, what did she say? Anyway, we need to figure out what we're doing for the festival. What will everyone doing this weekend? And then Monica's like, yeah, Natsuki's making cupcakes. Can you handle that? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, as for myself, I'm going to be printing and assembling. Sarah will help me. As for Yuri, you can, oh no, can you help me come up with something for Yuri? And Yuri's like, I'm useless. And Monica's like, no, you're really talented. And then she's like, now Natsuki's spouting too. Like, even I can tell. I guess I never gave Sayori enough credit, but I can tell things are even harder on you when she's not around. Aww. That may be the case, but if I can't be a leader on my own, then I won't grow as a person. So Yuri, you have beautiful handwriting, you know, so you should make some banners and decorations to help set the atmosphere. Atmosphere about that. I love atmosphere. Yuri's expression suddenly changes as she stares at her desk in focus and starts nodding to herself. Your mind is already racing, I see. That's great. You'll be wonderful help, Yuri. But anyway, just leaves you, Bunny, the one who is truly useless. Don't say that. Natsuki and Yuri have some pretty heavy tasks to handle. Probably go a long way to give one of them a hand. You can always help me out as well. I'd really appreciate that. And I'm like, that's... Suggest I spend the weekend with one of my club members. How on earth are they going to respond to a suggestion like that? I suppose I wouldn't mind getting a bit of help. Well, even if you don't know how to bake, there's always some dirty work I can give you. It's not like Monika's going to give me a choice, and I shouldn't be sitting on your butt anyway. I try to mumble a bunch of excuses. If I recall, Natsuki, you mentioned you would like to handle... Okay, so now they're just arguing. She's like, he should help me, and she's like, bruh, what? You should help me. And then she's like, you're trying to make excuses. She's like, it's meticulous work, and she's like, baking's meticulous work. And Monika's like, yeah, bruh, stop arguing. It's up to Bunny to decide. Besides, he hasn't really gotten the chance to spend any time with me yet, you know? I'm sure he's interested in... And then Natsuki's like, you literally just said. And she's like, sorry, I was just saying. And Natsuki's like, geez, can we just settle this? And it's like, yeah, Bunny, you're gonna go through that. It's up to you. And it's like, yeah, of course. Very well. In that case, look straight at me. Monika totally has a catchphrase. Okay, so I think last time I technically did Sayori, then Monika, then Yuri, but we're speedrunning, so I don't think it's gonna make a difference if I just go straight to Yuri. So, Yuri! Probably be the most useful helping out Yuri. Are you serious? Yeah. I can already tell you're about to say something mean. And she's like, no, I was just saying, ugh. Yeah. Pretty much they're just like, I try to help Sayori and they're like, you can't help Sayori. She's helping Monika. And then I was like, Monika. And she's like, I don't need help. I have Sayori. And then I finally said Yuri. Speedrun version. Happy helping Yuri. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm glad. I have a bad habit of overthinking these sort of things, so I think your assistance will be useful. That's great to hear. Can you handle the baking? Boom! Exactly. I mean, yeah, it's already said it would be fine. I was like, okay, everyone can tell it. Natsuki. Okay, so yeah, I gotta go over everything. Okay, we're excited. Yeah, excited. Maybe not excited, but looking forward to it a little bit. Feel the same way. I was like, yeah, I guess you could say I'm interested and see how it will turn out. And she's like, okay, good enough for me. What about you? And Natsuki's just pouting. And she's like, what? Is everyone yelling at me? I didn't even do anything. And it's like, that's not what I meant. And she's like, Yuri's all anxious. And she's like, I'm sorry. I don't really know what Bunny picked me. And also, your cupcakes are the best cupcakes I've ever had. They really go well with my tea. And nothing I do for the event will compare to that. So she's like, I get it. So I'm kind of surprised, though. It's like, well, I'm the one acting immature. I already know that. But you're trying to cheer me up all of a sudden. Aw, that's so sweet. She's like acknowledging that. It's like, oh no, I'm not very good at it. I'm sorry if I said something bad. Natsuki isn't the only one surprised. Monika and I are also taken aback by Yuri's words. She's already had trouble with words trying to cheer someone up and must be far out of her comfort zone. I begin to understand. She's trying to sound like Sayori. Even if it didn't work perfectly, I can tell that she tried to say something Sayori would say at a time like this. Because Sayori always helps everyone smile and feel good. She always used those bottles. And then she's like, I appreciated it. Sorry for making such a big deal on nothing, but I'm going to say this. You better bet that my cupcakes are gonna be the best part of the whole event. And then she's like, I believe in you. And everyone's like, yay, get to do your best. And nothing more for today. Time for us to head out. All right, let's get out of here then. Everyone packs up their things. I start to follow Monika and Natsuki out of the door as they chat with each other. And then Yuri's just like, sorry, I realized I don't have any way of contacting you. Oh, you're right. I can't believe that slipped my mind. Should I give you my phone number? I think that would be the best way. All right, then we exchange phone numbers. Cool, I'll be stopping by your house on Sunday. My house? Is that a problem? No, not at all. I just thought that I would be the one going to your house since I'm the one helping you. I suppose that makes sense, but if you don't mind, I think I would prefer to go to your house. All right, in that case, it won't be a problem. I decided not to press Yuri for a reason. It's not like it should matter either way. Just have to make sure my room is clean. I hope I make myself useful in some way. I'm not nearly as creative as you are. Don't underestimate yourself. I think that will make a very productive team, even if you only chose me because you felt bad or something. I was like, what? You don't think that. And she's like, I totally think that. I have anxiety. It's difficult to come up with any other reason you may have chosen me. You're forgetting the one reason, the most common sense. I chose you because that's what I want to do. And then Yuri's like, thinks at herself with a tense expression. And I go, you're overthinking it. You wanted me to point out when you're overthinking, right? And she's like, I guess. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I wanted to. That's all there is to it. Do you believe me? And she's like, she thinks really hard. She looks straight into your eyes for a while and says, I believe you. As if it took her tremendous effort. She finally says that and relaxes her expression. Looking forward to Sunday. Yay! They're excited. Make her way out the door and Yuri follows. Can't believe this. Yuri's gonna be coming to my house on Sunday. Anxiety shoots through the roof. Even though I've gotten pretty used to handling her at this point, there's no telling what might end up happening when we're outside of school. More than that, she told me she was looking forward to it. Is this the chance I have to make something happen between us, or is it too early for that? Only time will tell, but until then, I won't be able to take my mind off it. I seriously can't wait. Okay, it's Sunday. I'm getting so close. It's already Sunday. I've been getting increasingly anxious about Yuri's upcoming visit. I keep telling myself there's no reason to be nervous. So yeah, she's an introvert, intimate person. You know, she might open up a little bit when it's two of us. We've been texting. She's apprehensive at first. It wasn't long until I was learning stuff, putting Yuri aside. And you haven't heard from Sayori since she left the club. It's not like we text each other all the time, but you've been worried about her. And then, you know, what Sayori said and what Monica said. Is it really okay for her to put Sayori's feelings aside when she might need me? No, it's not okay. Decided to visit Sayori before Yuri comes over. Oh yeah, X-Dragon already put it into the chat. This is the first major potential trigger warning. This one's pretty mild, but still, just putting it out there. There is a trigger warning coming up. Once I reach her house, I knock on the door. Again, we used to play, so I made a habit of simply entering each other's house like we're family. The house is quiet. She isn't anywhere on the first floor, so I assume she's up on her room. It's already strange that she hasn't run down to greet me. Head up to her bedroom. We finally find her. Sayori? And she's like, oh, Bunny. I sit down in her room. She forces a smile, but it's easy to tell it's different. There's a minute of silence. She's like, you haven't come over like this in a really long time. And I'm like, oh, you're right. It's been a while. It's not really much has changed. Sayori's room is as messy as it's always been. You also recognize some of the same stuffed animals. Cute. And she kind of laughs. Came over more often, it wouldn't be such a mess. And then I'm like, yeah, it's because I clean it. It's like, why'd you come over today? Aren't you supposed to see Yuri? And I was like, yeah, but wait, how'd you know that? Sayori is always left by the time we decided last meeting. Yeah, the next 10 minutes are a content warning. Yeah, that's fair. Monica told me it's only natural for her to keep me informed. And I was like, yeah, that's true. What about you? Aren't you going to be helping Monica today? And she's like, yeah, but I'm just helping her online. We didn't plan to meet up, so it's just me and Yuri then. And she's like, yep. There's more silence between us. Sayori stares in a random direction. Everything about her behavior is really uncharacteristic. You finally get to the point. I just wanted to see how you were doing. After you left on Friday with something wrong, you can't hide it from me. I know you too well. So, and then Sayori smiles, shaking her head, and then she's like, that's no good. And I'm like, what? And she's like, why can't it just always be how it's always been? This is all my fault. And then, so she's like, she accidentally expressed her feelings, and she didn't want to make a stupid mistake, and then she wouldn't be worried. So she's feeling worried that I'm worried about her. And then she's like, and then you wouldn't come here, and you wouldn't have been thinking about it now. It's just my punishment, getting punished for being selfish. That's why the world decided to have you come over today. It just wants to torture me. And then she laughs a little, and I'm like, what? And I grab her by the shoulders. I'm like, what on earth are you saying? Are you listening to yourself right now? I know something happened to you. There's no other explanation. Tell me. Until I know, I won't be able to stop thinking about it. And then she's like, and then she gives her an empty smile. And then she's like, oh, I'm going to have to like say it. And she's like, you're wrong. Nothing happened. I've always been like this. You're just seeing it for the first time. Seeing what? No one's here by accident. That's fair. What are you talking about? And then she's laughing and she's like, you're really just gonna make me like literally say it. I have no choice this time. The thing is, I've had really bad depression my whole life. Did you know that? Why do you think I'm late to school every day? Because most days I can't even find a reason to get out of bed. What reason is there to do anything when I fully know how worthless I am? Why go to school? Why eat? Why make friends? Why make other people put their energy and caring to waste by having them spend it on me? That's what it feels like, and that's why I just want to make everyone happy without anyone worrying about me. And then Bunny just gets hit by a freight train, being like, what? I did not even realize this because I'm just a dumb teenage boy. How is it possible that Sayori's kept this from me? Did she really want so badly for me to not think about her? And she's like, what? Why is it that you've never told me about this? It feels like, oh, I hate this. It almost feels like I've been betrayed as your close friend. I hate that he says that. Because if I knew, I would have done everything I could to support you, which is exactly why she didn't tell him. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. She literally just said that she didn't want people, like, helping her. She didn't want to be a burden on others. And so, like, he just literally, like, confirmed her suspicions. I know he's trying to be supportive, but, like, he just confirmed what she was worried about. Ugh. Even if it's only so much I can do, I would have tried a little bit harder every day to make it better for you. Men. Exactly. And then Bunny Boy makes it all about himself. Oh my god, should I cosplay Bunny Boy? Just like this version, the Doki Doki Bunny. That's why I'm your friend. All you have to do is tell me. I'm like, you don't understand. Why do you think I didn't tell you? Because if I told you, then you'd have to waste effort caring about me instead of doing important things. I don't want to be cared about. It's bittersweet when people try to care about me. Feels nice, but it also feels like a bat being swung against my head. That's why I want so badly for you to make friends with everyone else. Helping everyone be happy together is the best thing. Then I discovered something else too. Seeing you make friends and get closer with everyone in the club feels like a spear going through my heart. So that's why I decided the world just wants to torture me. Every path leads to nothing but hurt. So you're right that I don't understand. I don't understand your feeling at all, Sayori, but I don't need to understand. Whatever it takes for me to help you to stop hurting, that's what I'll do. No, Bunny. There's nothing. Nothing at all. The only thing that could have helped is if everything could be like it always was. But I was selfish. I finally showed you what a horrible person I am. Tears streaked down her face. I made you join the literature club because I was selfish. She's saying that you punished her. Now you came here and I made you hurt too. I'm just weak and selfish. That's all I am. That's why I'm going to accept these punishments, because I deserve every last one. Without thinking, I once again grabbed Sayori's shoulders. This time I pull her into a tight embrace. Bunny. Sayori, I don't care if you feel selfish. I'm really happy that you convinced me to join the club. Seeing you every day makes it worthwhile enough. If I make friends with everyone else, then that's just a bonus. But please never underestimate how much I care about you. I wouldn't have it any other way. Sayori isn't hugging me back. Despite my arms being wrapped around her, Sayori's arms remain at her sides. She starts sobbing next to my ear. No, don't do this to me. Please don't do this. Bunny. Sayori barely manages to speak between her sobs. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but all I want for her is to know that I care. If you have it in you to call yourself selfish, then you have to let me be selfish too. No matter what it takes, I'll figure out what needs to change. I'll make these feelings go away, and if there's anything that you need me to do, then you better tell me. I'll get mad if you don't. I don't know. Gently, Sayori finally puts her arms around me in return. I don't know anything. It's all really scary. I don't understand any of my feelings, Bunny. The only time I'm not feeling nothing is when I'm feeling pain. I feel so bad for Sayori. Your hugs are warm, and that's really scary too. Aww, Sayori. As she does so, I let her go as well. The festival is tomorrow. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah. How would you like me to spend it all with you? That's what I want, I promise. I think that would be nice then. Yeah. She wipes her eyes. If I could spend the whole day here, I would. Of all days, this has to be the one where I have other plans. Maybe I should cancel. No, don't. Please don't. If you did that, then I really wouldn't forgive you. It's almost time for Yuri to meet me at my house. At the very least, you want to come along and help out? It would be fun. To my surprise, Sayori shakes her head. I'm sorry, I don't know if that would be very good for me today. You understand, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of hard for me to fully understand, but I'm trying my hardest. It's okay. Don't worry too much about it. I feel like in that entire exchange, Bunny Boy did like, I think 60 to 70% of what he said. Okay, wait, I think about 50% of what he said was like, you know, pretty good. Like neutral erring on good. 20% was like, wow, that was excellent. Like, good job being a supportive friend. And then 30% was just like, dude, you do not understand what she's going through at all. And you don't know how to comfort her. And you're probably making it worse. That was like the spread. And then she's like, don't worry about it. I'll see you tomorrow. Look forward to it. I say goodbye to Sayori and exit her house, find myself feeling uneasy. It's hard for me to keep thinking about when Yuri's about to come over. Savory's right. I shouldn't be worrying about too much. We're definitely gonna have a great time tomorrow. Oh yeah, we're gonna have such a great time tomorrow. I should just focus on what's ahead of me. I see something that feels a moment of panic. Yuri! Ah, thank goodness. You're a little early. I'm sorry I wasn't home yet. Were you waiting for a long time? She's like, no, I just got here. I started to get really nervous when nobody answered the doorbell. You could have texted me. And she's like, I would have hurried over. And I'm like, that's probably true. Didn't think of that for some reason. Should have been common sense, but I decided to ignore it. Just chilling, hanging out all day. Oh yeah, we're just gonna have a great time. Just hanging out at the festival, having a good time. All right, let's go inside. I see you brought a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's right. And did you manage to find everything I asked you to buy as well? Yeah, pretty much. At least I hope I got everything right. I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's get into your room. Take Yuri into the room. First thing she does is glance around cautiously, which makes me feel anxious. It's so clean. I cleaned it before you came over. Very considerate. Oh no, I would be really embarrassed if it were a mess. I do enjoy cleaning. I would have gladly helped you clean. I was like, oh, that would have been even more embarrassing. Don't look in there. She's in the process of opening a desk drawer of mine. And she's like, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking for some reason. I was just spacing out. And I'm like, it's fine. I let go of Yuri's wrist. She put both of her hands firmly in her lap, as if making sure she's keeping track of them. Should we get started? And she's like, yeah, I have a few things planned you can help with. Decorations, other atmospheric enhancements. You know, mood lighting, aromatherapy candles. Oh, wow, I didn't know you planned on taking it that far. And she's like, of course, I want to help take the guests to a faraway place. Although many will stop by just out of curiosity, and for cupcakes, I guess. I'm determined to provide an experience that will leave them wanting more. That's great. It's easy to forget that you're a pretty intense person. And she's like, intense? And I was like, yeah, that's the best way to put it. And she's like, is that a bad thing? I'm like, no, not at all. It's something that I like about you. Is that so? Makes me feel relieved and kind of happy. Yeah, no, nah, you can relax. And she's like, I brought some things for relaxation. I was going to use them during the poetry event. I was like, yeah, like what? Let's see. She rummages through her bag. She pulls out a few candles, a wooden cylinder-shaped object. I did some shopping on the way here, so I happen to have these in my bag. I planned to cover the windows in black paper and use candles to light the room. I think that would be amazing, don't you? And it's like, yeah, that'd be pretty neat. What's that wooden thing? Oh, this? It's a diffuser for essential oils. How familiar are you with aromatherapy? Not familiar at all. Is that so? It's one of my favorite contributors to a positive atmosphere. Depending on the oils or herbs you choose, you can change the mood of the air itself. You can even feel it permeate through your body. Relaxation, positive energy, romance, reflection. It's almost like magic. Yuri takes a cylinder and pushes a switch on the bottom. In just a moment, a thin ray of vapor begins to sprout through a small hole in the top. Wow, it smells wonderful. What kind of mood is that one for? It's jasmine essential oil. It smells a little sweet and flowery, right? It's like, that's a good way to describe it. Jasmine for the event because it provides more relaxation. It enhances your emotions and helps you feel them flow through your body. You feel warmer, your heart pounds more heavily. Don't you think that would be perfect for sharing poems? Yeah, it sounds suitable. You seem to know a lot about this. I'll trust your opinion. She smiles, enjoying herself. She reaches in the bag and pulls out spools of ribbon. I was like, what are those for? And she's like, did you purchase the origami paper? And I was like, yeah, it's over here. We won't be using it for folding origami. I'd like to write down a different word on each paper. We'll need about 100 of them. It's like, oh yeah, what would these be used for? Well, I'm gonna cut pieces of ribbon to hang from the doorway of the classroom. Then we can fasten the paper to the ribbons and create a doorway curtain. Wouldn't that be beautiful? It'll also catch the eye of those passing by the room and may attract someone to peek inside. That's really creative. I had no idea you'd be so good at this. She's like, is that so? Well, I suppose I do get a little intense, as you put it. And she giggles with red cheeks. She seems more relaxed when it's just the two of us. Or maybe it's the excitement she feels from sharing something that she enjoys. Here's a marker. You can write any characters you want. I'll help you once I finish cutting the ribbons. I'm like, okay. Sitting on the floor, the two of us get to work. I carefully draw a different character on each paper, doing my best to manage my bad handwriting. She unravels a long strand of red ribbon to her desired length. Then she reaches into her bag once more and pulls out a pocket knife. The knife is strangely beautiful. The silver handle has an intricate pattern of waves etched into it. The blade itself is gently tinted blue. That's no ordinary pocket knife. It looks really fancy. And she goes, well, embarrassed, she looks away. What is it? You're gonna think it's weird. Whatever it is, I have no reason to judge. To each their own. If you promise you won't be weird. And I'm like, yeah, all right. It's this thing, I'm kind of into knives. They're just so pretty. I can't help it. I don't know what it is. The combination of craftsman and the feeling of danger, maybe. Like, you know what I'm saying? Please don't think I'm weird for this. And I'm like, you're laughing at me. No, I'm not laughing. It's just funny how nervous you get about sharing. It's an interesting thing to be into, but it kind of suits you. And she's like, suits me? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of intense. Besides, it's a really cool looking knife. I can't deny that. And She's like, it is, isn't it? She relaxes her expression once again. Would you like to hold it? Sure, I'll check it out. Yuri carefully hands me the knife with the handle facing me. I take it and turn it around in my hands. It feels heavy and extremely solid. Where do you get a knife like this? Curious of its sharpness, I feel the point with my index finger. Ow! Honey, why'd you do that? Like, I didn't expect it to be that sharp. I barely touched it at all. Oh, it's my fault. I should have warned you. This knife is extremely sharp. It can cut through skin like it's paper. Oh no, a small drop of blood trickles down the side of my finger. Yuri takes takes my hand and gives the wound a closer look. Ah, she stares at it and noticeably fidgets. If you're squeamish, I'll go wash it off now. And then without warning, she puts her finger in your mouth and licks the wound. Feel her tongue curl around your finger. Startled, you instinctively pull back your hand. And then, please forgive me, I wasn't thinking. She lowers her head and her face is burning up. Yuri, that's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. How I could do something like that. I'm sorry. It was a little weird, but it took you by surprise. I guess she was just trying to help, right? I think you're overreacting a little. And she's like, she doesn't lift her head. What if she doesn't recover from this for the rest of the afternoon? All right, you know what? This might be a stupid thing to do, but I'll do it anyway. I take Yuri's hand and lick her index finger in return. She's like, buddy, did you really just do that? And I'm like, now we're even. And then she just looks at me like I did something wrong. I was like, I knew that would be a bad idea. If not for the sweet aroma of jasmine oil, the air would be extremely heavy right now. And then she's just like, you're weird, and giggles. And I'm like, Yuri's calling me weird? I have no response to that. Where do you keep your bandages? And she's like, I don't think I need one, actually. It was a tiny cut. Look, it already stopped bleeding. I see. That's relieving. The tension is quickly lifted. We each resume our respective activities. I watch Yuri's knife cut through the ribbon like it's nothing but air. Meanwhile, I continue to make progress on the paper. After we finish attaching the paper to the ribbons, we lay them all out side by side. It looks better than expected and will be very effective as a door curtain. It looks great. Good thinking coming up with this, Yuri. Thanks. It's just something I saw online, really. Are you ready to move on to the next task? Yeah, let's do it. What do you have in mind? I'd like to create a banner. That's why I asked you to buy the paint tablets. That's right. One of the items Yuri had me was buy a kit of watercolor paint tablets. We need about 6 cups of water to put the tablets in. Do you mind fetching those for us? Of course not. 6 cups of water. I'll be right back in 1 minute. Thank you very much. And just a little bit of water is okay. If you fill the cups too much, it will be too diluted. Taking Yuri's advice, I decided to use small plastic bathroom cups rather than full-size glasses, put them onto a plate so the paint drips, to catch any paint that drips, then bring it back into the room. Yuri? Yes? I come in to see Yuri quickly unrolling her sleeve, pulling it back over her arm. Nothing. Your face is a little red. It's too hot. Is it too hot in here or anything? No, not at all. There's nothing wrong, so let's mix paint. Yuri hurriedly dismisses me and takes it upon herself to unwrap the tablets, dropping them into the cups. So, thought we would do something simple that would look very nice. I'd like to paint a gradient across the banner, starting with the colors of sunrise, then daytime, then sunset, and nighttime. Once it dries, I'll write an inspirational quote across the banner. We can hang it on the wall behind the podium at the front of the classroom. Neat! What are you gonna write? Well, it'll be more fun to surprise you. She smiles at me. If you say so. After rolling out the banner, Yuri and I kneel on opposite sides so we don't get in the way of each other. Yuri uses a brush and adds a few dots of different colors across the banner to serve as a color guide when we paint. Kind of reminds me of elementary school. Painting on a banner with watercolors feels a lot like the art class projects we had back then. It's relaxing. I'm sorry if this feels too childish. No, I didn't mean it like that at all. It's fun. Yeah, it is fun. I'm glad you feel that way too. Yuri stops painting for a moment, thinking to herself, for me, I don't need to go out and do crazy things to have fun. In fact, I usually don't even want to. It's just like when I can spend time with one other person, even if it's a simple thing like reading. It doesn't even matter if we don't talk much. Just having a friend next to me makes things feel a little bit nicer. I think that's all it takes for me to be happy. Is that so? Even if Yuri and I are quite different, I can understand where she's coming from. I feel that way about things like anime and games, where simply sharing the experience can make me happy. I think I feel the same way. Yuri smiles. I knew you'd understand. She leans over the banner to grab an unused paintbrush. But I move at the same time, crashing my head to bump into hers. Easy looking at the camera like that, Bunny. We both know how she's going.
Say hi.
Obviously.
Oh, I dropped your.
You dropped my water bottle.
Over.
We just got to baby trauma.
Oh.
And we're about to get to major trauma, but I don't think we're gonna get to that this stream.
Ooh. Hey, X-Dragon.
Yeah, we did baby trauma, now we're doing implied trauma, and next we're gonna do explicit trauma.
So you caught up to where you were?
Almost. We're
Okay.
about a scene and a half away from catching up. Actually, no, we're still a little bit away, but I think that's all I'm gonna have time for tonight, because I have to go to work tomorrow. Now there are two of them.
Okay.
Alright.
Enjoy the rest of your game.
I will. Actually, it's gonna give me nightmares.
Yeah, you will.
No, we're probably not gonna get to that part tonight. Yeah, okay, well. Alright, well, let's keep going, Ah, I dropped this. Okay. Move at the same, okay, heads bump. Ah, sorry. She reels back, I quickly lift my hands in surprise. Are you hurt? No, I'm not hurt, I just startled me. I should have asked you to get it for me. It's not your fault. It's your face. There are droplets of paint on your face and neck. Is there something on my face? Yeah, I accidentally got some paint on you. Totally my fault. I'll get the towel right away. I rush out and fetch a small towel and then dampen it with hot water. I return to my room and kneel back down in front of her. Aw, cute moment. Here. I pat down Yuri's face and neck with a towel. Is something wrong? It's hot. I just didn't expect it. Sorry, I didn't want to use cold water. Having finished, I started to retract my hand, but Yuri suddenly holds my wrist. Wait, just for a little longer. It feels really nice. I was like, I keep my hand still against Yuri's neck. She looks into my eyes, an intense expression I recognize from when she reads her books. Almost as if she's lost in a daze, enveloped by her own thoughts. She breathes gently, through slightly parted lips. What is happening? Is it the aroma of jasmine oil giving me this dizzy feeling? Yuri's gentle fingers wrapped around my wrist, sending a tingling sensation through my arm. And suddenly, her face seems to be much closer to mine than it was just a moment ago. Sorry. I've been feeling a little lightheaded today. I wonder why, girl! I didn't mean to space out. It's fine. The moment is over as soon as it began. Yuri picks up her brush again, but her movements seem clumsier, like she's unable to focus. I remain silent, forced to ignore the event that just transpired. They almost kissed. They're painting. That should do it. Finished filling in the night sky with white dots that look like stars. Looking at the banner as a whole, it's very pretty and natural looking. I think they came out better than expected. I'm really happy with the results. Yeah, me too. Are you gonna add the lettering now? Not yet. It needs to dry first. That's true, but won't it take a while? Well, perhaps it'd be best to leave it here. Then have you bring it in the morning. I can do the lettering in the classroom before our event starts. Is that okay? That is totally fine. Wonderful. In that case, I don't think there's anything more for us to do here. Phew. You say that like you're glad it's over. Was I wrong to assume you were at least enjoying yourself? It's not that. I'm just glad we managed to get everything done. I see. I am too. I was a little concerned about time. I need to start making dinner soon. So you don't have any time left? I was secretly hoping we'd have extra time after finishing the work. Well, Yuri thinks to herself, I think it would be too irresponsible of me to wait much longer. I'm sorry. I was hoping there'd be more time as well. It's probably my fault. Sorry for being such a slow worker. No, it's not your fault at all. And the important thing is that we got everything done, right? Yeah, so I shouldn't be disappointed or anything. Gathering all her things, Yuri seems to look a little downcast. I understand why. It sounded like she rarely gets the opportunity to spend time with friends in a relaxed environment. But that doesn't mean this is the last time it can happen. Once Yuri packs up, I walk her out the front door. Thank you very much for having me today. No problem. I'm glad I was able to help. Just let me know if there's anything else you need me to bring tomorrow. I will. Well then. Yuri fidgets. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Wait, I kind of say that without thinking. About today. It's fine that we didn't have as much time as we wanted, because we can do this again. Whenever you want, you can come over, or we can go hang out somewhere. I mean, I forgot you don't like going out much. As I stumble over my words, Yuri simply smiles bashfully. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. So, you're very thoughtful, Bunny. Yuri takes a step closer to me, then briefly squeezes my hand. Oh, she's so close. I kind of like that about you. Well, how am I supposed to respond to that? But I don't even get a chance as Yuri suddenly pulls back. Sayori! Eh? Hi, bunny. Okay, we're going back to normal speed now. I feel like this part deserves a little bit of voice acting, you know? I mean, technically the room... Gosh, it's getting late. Okay, to be honest, guys... I know it's just about to get good, but I think I might need to call it for the night because it's 10:30 here and I need to get up and work tomorrow. And I'm still kind of getting used to the commute and everything, so I'm waking up a lot earlier than I usually am. And I know it's a bit of a weird place to stop, but I feel like things are about to get really intense. So maybe if we just like if I don't stop now, we're going to be streaming for like a while longer. So I feel like I should probably just call it, you know? You know? Yeah, I think that's going to be probably the play here. And I did save it. Like, it's right here. Although I think if I click continue, it'll bring me back to where I am. But I hit save. So, I think, yeah, okay. It is decided. Oh, I thought it was going to go back to the main menu. Whatever. There was probably a button for that I didn't press. But anyway, we got some little baby traumas. We got some, yeah, we got mini trauma. We got implied trauma. And we are about to get hardcore make you have nightmares trauma. It's great. But anywho, let's go give Nocturnal Hannah the raid. I feel like we haven't sent the raid her way in a while. She's playing some Legend of Zelda, not the new one, an old one. But we haven't sent the raid her way in a while, so let's go ahead and send the raid her way. Well, thank you all for hanging out with me, and thank you for, you know, coming to the stream, even though it's later than usual. I'm sorry that it's gonna have to be this way for the summer. You know, I kind of have to work around my, like, job, you know. When I'm at school, I have a little more flexibility with my time. You know, like, I still have to work, like, a full work week, but I can move the time around as I need to. Where, yes, this is a very important internship, so I appreciate you guys for being flexible with me and letting me stream later than usual. The tentative plan is Thursday, streaming again at 7:30. I'm going to consider moving the stream to Friday, but this week we're going to stick with Thursday. Cool beans?
Podcast.
Yeah? Should I talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
So the other thing that I just really quickly want to mention before I log off. Oh no, I have like 20 seconds.
Quick.
Beans are in the fridge already. Okay. Podcast. Friday morning. You know the streaming service Kick? And a lot of streamers are going over there because they pay better. So podcast Friday morning on Kick. I don't have an account yet, but I'll link it when I do. Okay, the raid is starting. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.